Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fanfiction podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. Today, we're diving into a brand new story, Becoming a Member of the Strongest Familia Part 3 by CA1 Piggy. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Chapter name replacements. Loki, Reveria, Finn, Syr, and Ryu arrived at the Twilight Manor and found Lefia talking with Filvis. Loki Filvis, I brought Ryu here who is a member of the Astrea Familia. As you can imagine, she has some questions about Revis and the others that you may have seen Filvis. I will be happy to tell you what I know Ryu, I appreciate your help. As Lady Loki indicated, I am a member of the Astrea Familia, so I care a lot about what happened to my former colleagues who fell in the dungeon 5 years ago. You said Revis was actually my former captain Elise. Filvis, that is what Dionysus told me. He pointed out Revis was the former captain and there were several others that were former Astrea members. Ryu, did they remember anything about the surface world or the Astrea Familia? Filvis, I have only talked to Revis. She did not appear to remember anyone or much about the surface world. She also did not mention anything about Astrea. She was very selfish and beast-like and only interested in her own survival. Ryu, do you know if Dionysus or any other god gave them a Falna? Filvis, I am not sure. I kept my Falna when I was changed into a creature, but I did not completely die. That may have been a unique situation as Enio was Dionysus, though Olivia's may have been the other exception. Olivia's definitely had memories. I myself lost a lot of power when Dionysus returned to heaven. Revis was destroyed before Dionysus returning to heaven. Ryu, do you remember how the other creatures looked like? Filvis, I saw 3 other ones, and they were all female. There could be more, but we were far away from them. They were regular size, but I could not tell if they were human, elf, or another race. I don't think there were any Paulum or dwarf. Ryu, how many times did you see the other creatures? Filvis, several times, but was never near them. I was mostly with Revis. The other creatures mostly kept to themselves. Ryu, do you know if the corrupted spirit have other creatures? Filvis, not that I am aware of other than Olivia's, who was killed by Revis for his magic stone. I know that the corrupted spirit tried to convert adventurers when there was an opportunity. However, lower levels have trouble surviving the process. I think level 1 adventurers almost have no chance of surviving the process. Finn, quick question, but why not convert the bodies that did not survive the process? Filvis, once the process fails, I do not think it is possible to try again. Ryu, how did you increase your power to such a high level? Filvis, creatures got stronger by consuming magic stones. The higher power the magic stone, the better. I consumed the magic stone of a demi-spirit to reach level 7 type of power. So did Revis. I believe the other creatures were at least 1 to 2 levels lower in power. I don't think anyone else consumed the magic stone from a demi-spirit. Loki, what do you think is going on with the corrupted spirit and those creatures right now? Filvis, well, I have not had any dealings with the corrupted spirit after I was changed into a creature. They lost Dionysus, me and Revis, and used up a few demi-spirits. I don't think they have that many dual fetuses because they probably used what they have up. Also, a lot of resources were used up like Virgus. Filvis continued. They are likely trying to regenerate some of their resources, particularly dual fetuses. Finn, how long does it take to grow a dual fetus? Filvis, I don't know how long it takes the corrupted spirit to create a single fetus. However, after the fetus is attached to a source of nourishment such as a pantry, it takes at least 1 month for it to become a dual fetus. After the dual fetus is ready, the parasiticized entity would need to feed essentially non-stop for at least 2 weeks for enough energy, probably more. Finn, what is below the 59th floor? Filvis, the lowest floor I have been to is the 66th floor. It is pretty much the same from the 59th to the 66th floor. Mostly jungles which were cultivated to grow demi-spirits. Everyone exclamation point. Finn, we need to destroy their ability to generate demi-spirits. Filvis, I can help in that. Loki, we would need Otter and Bell. Loki, I think Freya said Bell needs at least a couple weeks to get close to level 6 stats. Finn, knowing Bell, level 6 for him is as good as a level 7. Reveria, yes, it is worth waiting for that. Finn, I don't think we want to wait more than 1 month, and preferably less. We need to burn off those jungles. Filvis to Ryu, sorry I did not have any more information. Ryu, actually it sounds like my former Familia members probably died as there is no retained memory. Filvis, I think Revis acted on her own for the most part. Same with the other creatures. Ryu, that is a lot better than being controlled, so that sets my mind more at ease. Thank you for your help, Ryu. Now I need about 1 week to reach the location where Astrea may be. Syr, I will go with you to Astrea Ryu, but the journey could be dangerous. Syr smiled. I will go with you. With their conversation ended, Syr and Ryu returned to the hostess. Filvis and Loki went to the Folkvanga for training with Bell and Otter. Finn, Reveria, and Finn sat around to discuss the situation. Reveria, well, it seems Filvis is getting along well with Lefia again. I am really thankful to see that. Finn, yes, it seems that they talked it out. Gareth, well, we need to keep an eye on her. It is good she is helping to train Bell. We also need to learn how to fight those creatures down there. Reveria, yes, she should be training us also. At the Folkvanga, Bell, Otter, and Filvis took turns sparring and being healed. Loki, Lefia, Freya, and Ais were watching the entire training. It was good for Bell to get some training in. With Ari's condition, it has been quite a while since he had a chance to train. While his magic and endurance stats went up, the fighting portion of his stats had been pretty stagnant. When Bell went against Otter, his improved stats after reaching level 5 clearly showed up. Bell was fighting like at least like a mid-level 6. Otter still knocked him out and Ais still got to give him the lap pillows, but the fight was far less lopsided. When Bell went against Filvis, it was a similar situation. Bell still got knocked out, but the battle was pretty reasonable. Ais was having trouble just watching Bell get beat up. Freya monitored her carefully, and any time Ais got a bit upset, Freya used charm to help soothe Ais down. That was definitely noticed by Lefia and Loki, which reminded them of the seriousness of Ai's condition. As long as the condition is not cured, it looked like Ais would be staying with Freya. As the day went on, Bell definitely caught on to some of Filvis' techniques and made an observable improvement in his skills. Before dinner, Freya gave Bell an update. Level 5 strength, 180 endurance, 403 agility, 192 dexterity, 165 magic, 667 skill, Argonaut, Ox Slayer, Love Magic, Firebolt development ability, Luck, Abnormal resistance, Escape, Magic resistance. At the hostess, Ryu and Syr returned to the hostess and talked with Mia and the other girls. Mia, so you are going to find Astrea, Syr, and I am going with her. Mia, that is fine. Mia, it will be a dangerous trip, but I am sure you will be protected on the trip. Anya, Chloe, and Lunoir also wanted to go, and Mia indicated she is fine with it. That made all the girls very happy about their trip. Ryu, but what about the hostess? Mia, don't worry. I will get some extra help, and May is still cooking. Mia then went out to attend to a few matters, leaving the girls to fend for themselves for a while. Later, Bell, Ais, and Freya came in for dinner after a long day of training. Syr, Bell, Ais, Lady Freya, welcome and please follow me to your table. After sitting down, Freya, is Mia here? Syr, no. She left earlier this afternoon and has not been back. Syr, I will let her know when she returns. After they ordered their food, Filvis, Lefia, and Loki also came in for food. Then Loki went over to talk. Loki, so you are all eating without us. I understand. Ais, sorry Loki, but the table is too small. Loki, how soon am I forgotten? Sniff sniff. Ais, come on Loki, and gave her a hug which made Loki quiet and happy. Freya smiled, so it is the squeaky wheel situation. Loki, come on, Freya. You already got her under your roof, so at least let me have some fun. Freya, alright, well have some Soma wine. Loki, wow, the good stuff, thanks. At that point, Mia came back and went to Freya's table after talking to Syr. Mia, Lady Freya, Freya, I was told that you were looking for me. Mia then explained what happened with Ryu, and that Syr was going along as well as her maids. Freya, I see. Well, Alan will go along to provide protection, but who will work for you while your maids are on the trip? Mia, I went putting out signs looking for temporary help. Bell, I can help here if you need. Ais, Bell, I will help you even though I cannot cook. Mia smiled looking at Bell. Yes, you would look great in an outfit. Bell exclamation point. Freya smirked, that sounds interesting. I will be eating here often. Even Ai's smile got happier. At the same time, Loki with dirty thoughts, Ais in maid uniform, scored. As Loki was fantasizing, Freya, stop your wet dream. Loki, look at who is talking. Then Loki suddenly got serious. Actually, I do have a serious matter to discuss. Really good business. At the hostess, as Loki put down her glass of Soma wine, it was time for the serious talk. Loki, Filvis told us that there are at least 3 more creatures that are former Astrea members. We are not sure how many there are, but there could be up 10 missing members who could have been turned into creatures. Revis was their former captain. The remaining creatures would likely have less power than Revis and Filvis, but the corrupted spirit is probably trying to create more dual fetus that can be used to create demi-spirits. The demi-spirits are direct threats. Also, what got Revis to level 7 power was a demi-spirit magic crystal. As if reading Loki's mind, Freya, it is amazing how these stories always escalate. How much time do we have? Loki Filvis also said that about 1 month minimum to generate a dual fetus after attachment to a pantry. Then at least 2 weeks of continuous feeding for a parasiticized entity. What is worse is that floor 59 to 66 are jungles created to generate dual fetuses. And there could be more of the same floors below that, but we just do not know. We also do not know what they have kept in reserve Freya, so we need to strike in less than 1 month. Loki, that is our thought, and Ryu is going to try to find Estrella to see if she knows anything else about those former members. In the meantime, Bell needs to train hard. Bell, I understand Lady Loki, AIS Bell. I am sorry I cannot help Bell, AIS. The best thing for me is to know that you are safe, AIS crying, but you will be in danger and I cannot help. I am so useless. As they hugged AIS. Bell, I can fight my best if I know you are safe. Ryu, we will leave tomorrow morning and hope to be back in 2 weeks. At that point, Ryu went to pack along with Syr, Enya, Chloe, and Lunwa. At the Folk Venga, with the urgency of the situation and the potential of 10 creatures, Bell's training got even more intense. Bell, Otter, and Filvis continued to take turns sparring and being healed. Loki, Lefia, Freya, and AIS were watching the entire training. Finn, Gareth, Beat, Tiona, and Tyon also came over to train, particularly against Filvis. When Bell went against Otter, he was clearly improving by leaps and bounds. The same was true with Filvis. Harrowheim joined them some of the time to boost different combatants. It was important for the Loki members to get experience fighting against a creature, so their time with Filvis was important. On the way to a faraway village in the north, having procured horses for the trip, the girls were having a great time. Providing protection escort was Alan up front and 2 Gulliver brothers in the rear. With such heavy protection, what monsters that dared challenge were quickly diced up. The last time Ryu received a letter from Estrella, she was at a faraway location towards the Dragon Valley up north. She was living in a farming small village that had a few retired adventurers who provided protection. Apparently life was basic and sort of tough, but Estrella did not want to be Rio anymore with the bad memories of her loss. In the evenings at the hostess, the idea of having Bell and AIS serving customers in maid outfits were a shock in Rio. Business was very, very good. Mia was quite happy seeing dollar signs in her eyes, but she did worry about the girls on the trip. The very first group of customers that evening were the Loki executives. Loki, Finn, Reveria, Tiona, Tyon, Beat, and Gareth were there, as well as Lefia and Filvis. Loki Asapu, are you waiting on us today? AIS welcome. I will show you to your table, with Reveria punishing Loki's naughty hand headed towards Ari's butt. The second group of customers was Freya, Otter, Harrowheim, Lily, and Welf. Bell went over to take them to their table. Freya, Bell, you look so cute in that uniform, making Bell super embarrassed in his maid skirt, and Mia LOL. Lily, Belsama, you look really good in that LOL, earning laughs from Welf, while Harrowheim was too embarrassed to comment or even look. The third group was Maud, Scott, and a few other adventurers who were brought to their table by a temporary maid that Mia hired. Maud, Bell is wearing a skirt. That is quite a treat. Scott yelled from across the restaurant. Bell, come sit on my lap LOL. The fourth group was Hermes and Asfi, who was brought to their table by Mia herself. That was one way to keep Hermes' mouth shut. The fifth was Hephaestus and Tsubaki, who was brought to their table by AIS. Hephaestus was really enjoying the strange scene in the hostess. Tsubaki licked her lips. Look at Bell. Business was so good that customers were lining up outside the pub. Seeing the huge wait, Mama decided to put out some tables outside the restaurant for outdoor dining for customers who did not want to wait. The problem was there were not enough waitresses to handle the customers. May was also going crazy cooking for too many people. Finn LOL, they cannot handle this much business. Loki, yes, this is a crazy scene. Reveria, poor AIS is going to have to use Ariel to get to all the tables in time. Seeing AIS suffer, Lefia immediately got up and asked Mia for a maid outfit. Filvis, Tiona, and Tyon soon followed. That made the atmosphere in the pub even more surreal. Loki, wow, all my girls are going to moonlight at the hostess now. Freya also saw that the hostess was going out of control with business. With Lefia and her friends helping out, the kitchen could not keep up. Freya, AIS dear, could you please Ariel back to the Folk Venga and get my best chef and an assistant here at the fastest pace possible? AIS nodded yes. I will do it immediately. So AIS left for Folk Venga and Bell covered her tables, including Loki's table. As Bell bought the food, Beat had a naughty look and was having evil thoughts of revenge. While Bell was serving, Wolvie's long tail flipped Bell's skirt, making Belle scream and very embarrassed. However, Mia saw everything and quickly grabbed the offending tail. Not only that, but said tail was severely punished, making Beat roll around the ground in pain for his bad behavior. Fin Mia, your punishment is much needed. Reveria Mia, I think this is good for Beat in the long term. Mia winked, no one touches my girls, making Belle pout. By that time, AIS returned with a chef who immediately went in the kitchen to help May. AIS then left again to pick up an assistant. By the end of the first week, the hostess was making money like it has never done. With the Loki girls working there along with Belle in a skirt, everyone wanted to eat there. All the guy adventurers wanted to be served by the Loki girls, as this was the only chance for them to get near them. Belle's fans in the city all wanted to see him in a maid outfit. By the end of the week, Belle's butt had been pinched over 20 times by different girls, but his skirt was never flipped again after Beat's punishment. On the other hand, no one dared touch the Loki girls. Groups from the Freya Familia, Loki Familia, and the Hermes Familia came every day to eat and have fun. Word was that even the Xenos wanted to go but could not work out the political situation. For training, Belle was fighting at least an advanced level 6 by the end of the week. So it got easier for AIS to watch, as Belle received less and less lap pillows as the days went by. The fights against Otter and Filvis were no longer very lopsided. Belle had also clearly started to surpass Finn and Gareth. Belle's stats took a huge jump: level 5 strength, 630 endurance, 762 agility, 623 dexterity, 584 magic, 789 skill, Argonaut, Ox Slayer, Love Magic, Firebolt development ability, Luck, Abnormal resistance, Escape, Magic resistance, Remote village far north of Rio. After a long week of travel, the girls and their protection escort reached their destination. There was no monster worth mention, as Alan and the 2 Gulliver brothers were a substantial overkill. As they walked around the village, it appeared to have less than 50 inhabitants. A few came to greet them. Village man, welcome. Can we help you? Where are you going? Ryu, we are looking for Goddess Astrea. Could you be so kind to direct us to her, village lady? May I ask why you are looking for the goddess? Ryu, she is actually my goddess, village man. Oh, then I will take you to her now. At the end of the village was a small, modest hut. When they knocked on the door, a lady with long brown hair and a long skirt opened the door. Atiri Ryu, Lady Astrea. Atiri Astrea Ryu, it has been a long time. Closure, remote village far north of Rio. A lady with long brown hair and a long skirt opened the door of the small hut. Atiri Ryu, Lady Astrea. Atiri Astrea Ryu, it has been a long time. After an emotional reunion, Ryu, Syr, and the other girls sat down to have tea with Astrea. Astrea Ryu, how have you been? How long did it take to get here? Ryu, it took us 1 week. On my right is Syr, who saved me when I was at my darkest moment. With that, Astrea thanked Syr and did a dejiza. That immediately caused everyone to jump up and stop Astrea from such a self-deprecating act. Syr, I was glad to do it. We are close friends now as well, with Chloe, Anya, and Lunoir here. Astrea, thank you all for taking care of Ryu. I always worried about her because of what happened in the dungeon. By the way, who are the 3 strong ones outside? Syr, they protected us on the way here. They are part of the Freya Familia, Alan and 2 Gulliver brothers. They are all first-class adventurers. The 5th was Hephaestus and Tsubaki, who was brought to their table by AIS. Hephaestus was really enjoying the strange scene in the hostess. Tsubaki licked her lips. Look at Belle. Business was so good that customers were lining up outside the pub. Seeing the huge wait, Mama decided to put out some tables outside the restaurant for outdoor dining for customers who did not want to wait. The problem was there were not enough waitresses to handle the customers. May was also going crazy cooking for too many people. Finn LOL, they cannot handle this much business. Loki, yes, this is a crazy scene. Reveria, poor AIS is going to have to use Ariel to get to all the tables in time. Seeing AIS suffer, Lefia immediately got up and asked Mia for a maid outfit. Filvis, Tiona, and Tyon soon followed. That made the atmosphere in the pub even more surreal. Loki, wow, all my girls are going to moonlight at the hostess now. Freya also saw that the hostess was going out of control with business. With Lefia and her friends helping out, the kitchen could not keep up. Freya, AIS dear, could you please Ariel back to the Folkvanga and get my best chef and an assistant here at the fastest pace possible? AIS nodded yes, I will do it immediately. So AIS left for Folkvanga and Belle covered her tables, including Loki's table. As Belle bought the food, Beat had a naughty look and was having evil thoughts of revenge. While Bell was serving, Wolvie's long tail flipped Bell's skirt, making Bell scream and very embarrassed. However, Mia saw everything and quickly grabbed the offending tail. Not only that, but said tail was severely punished, making Beat roll around the ground in pain for his bad behavior. Fin Mia, your punishment is much needed. Reveria Mia, I think this is good for Beat in the long term. Mia winked, no one touches my girls, making Bell pout. By that time, AIS returned with a chef who immediately went in the kitchen to help May. AIS then left again to pick up an assistant. By the end of the first week, the hostess was making money like it has never done. With the Loki girls working there along with Bell in a skirt, everyone wanted to eat there. All the guy adventurers wanted to be served by the Loki girls, as this was the only chance for them to get near them. Bell's fans in the city all wanted to see him in a maid outfit. By the end of the week, Bell's butt had been pinched over 20 times by different girls, but his skirt was never flipped again after Beat's punishment. On the other hand, no one dared touch the Loki girls. Groups from the Freya Familia, Loki Familia, and the Hermes Familia came every day to eat and have fun. Word was that even the Xenos wanted to go but could not work out the political situation. For training, Bell was fighting at least like an advanced level 6 by the end of the week. So it got easier for AIS to watch, as Bell received less and less lap pillows as the days went by. The fights against Otter and Filvis were no longer very lopsided. Bell had also clearly started to surpass Finn and Gareth. Bell's stats took a huge jump: level 5 strength, 630 endurance, 762 agility, 623 dexterity, 584 magic, 789 skill, Argonaut, Ox Slayer, Love Magic, Firebolt Development Ability, Luck, Abnormal Resistance, Escape, Magic Resistance, Remote Village far north of Rio. After a long week of travel, the girls and their protection escort reached their destination. There was no monster worth mention, as Alan and the 2 Gulliver brothers were a substantial overkill. As they walked around the village, it appeared to have less than 50 inhabitants. A few came to greet them. Village man, welcome. Can we help you? Where are you going? Ryu, we are looking for Goddess Astrea. Could you be so kind to direct us to her, village lady? May I ask why you are looking for the goddess? Ryu, she is actually my goddess, village man. Oh, then I will take you to her now. At the end of the village was a small, modest hut. When they knocked on the door, a lady with long brown hair and a long skirt opened the door. Atiri Ryu, Lady Astrea. Atiri Astrea Ryu, it has been a long time. Closure, remote village far north of Rio. A lady with long brown hair and a long skirt opened the door of the small hut. Atiri Ryu, Lady Astrea. Atiri Astrea Ryu, it has been a long time. After an emotional reunion, Ryu, Syr, and the other girls sat down to have tea with Astrea. Astrea Ryu, how have you been? How long did it take to get here? Ryu, it took us 1 week. On my right is Syr, who saved me when I was at my darkest moment. With that, Astrea thanked Syr and did a dejiza. That immediately caused everyone to jump up and stop Astrea from such a self-deprecating act. Syr, I was glad to do it. We are close friends now as well, with Chloe, Anya, and Lunoir here. Astrea, thank you all for taking care of Ryu. I always worried about her because of what happened in the dungeon. By the way, who are the 3 strong ones outside? Syr, they protected us on the way here. They are part of the Freya Familia, Alan and 2 Gulliver brothers. They are all first-class adventurers. Skill, Argonaut, Ox Slayer, Love Magic, Firebolt Development Ability, Luck, Abnormal Resistance, Escape, Magic Resistance. At the hostess, Ryu and her friends returned to Rio. Mama thinking, what am I going to do when the girls come back? Business is going to drop like a rock. Maybe I can find some Bell and AIS lookalikes. Suddenly, a light bulb went on in Mia's head. Later that day, Ryu suddenly lost all her powers without any warning. Completely freaked out, she decided to rush to the Loki Familia for help. At the Folkvanga, at the beginning of the 3rd week, Bell continued to practice against Otter and Filvis. With every day of training, he gets closer and closer to having an even fight. As Freya watched, she actually thought that Bell would catch up after a level up. The problem is that the level up would probably require a trip to the dungeon, but she really would prefer that he leveled up before going into the dungeon. Finn and Gareth would continue to train against an available level 7 fighter who is not sparring with Bell. They are also benefiting from the experience, especially against Filvis, who had skills that other sparring partners did not. Haraheim's boosting was used to give everyone the chance to fight against a level 8 opponent. Also, Haroheim's boosting endurance continues to improve. With consistent practice over the last few weeks, Haroheim could also boost 5 people for up to 12 minutes twice with at least half an hour of rest in between. The biggest news of all was that Haroheim is now qualified for level 2. They would wait until the trip before completing the leveling, giving her an opportunity to get the stats a bit higher. The last practice of the day had all 5 combatants boosted. So it was Bell at level 6 and Otter at level 8 against Filvis at level 8, Finn at level 7 and Gareth at level 7. The Loki members had the clear advantage, but Finn actually commented that it could be an even fight after Bell leveled. After the Loki members left for home, Bell's status showed steady improvement. Level 5 strength, 1048 endurance, 1159 agility, 1167 dexterity, 998 magic, 1151 skill, Argonaut, Ox Slayer, Love Magic, Firebolt development ability, Luck, Abnormal resistance, Escape, Magic resistance. At the Twilight Manor, Gareth, Finn, Lefia, and Filvis ran into Ryu at the gate. Ryu was basically falling apart in tears. Finn, what happened? Ryu in tears. Finn-san, I just lost all my powers. I fear for the worst. They quickly took Ryu to see Loki, who happened to be in her chambers. Soon Reveria joined them. After learning that Ryu lost her powers, Loki, when did this happen? Ryu, it just happened. I immediately came here to talk to you afterward, realizing that Loki. So did you see Estrella? Ryu, yes, we found her in a distant village. We left the village about a week ago. Loki, Ryu, I am sorry to tell you that Estrella has returned to heaven. Ryu continued to have tears stream down. Is there any other explanation? Loki, no. Was she in any danger, or is there any explanation why this happened? Ryu, no danger that I was aware of. She did tell me to join another familiar repeatedly. Loki, I see. Maybe learning of what happened was too much for her. So she basically pushed you to move forward. Is that right? Ryu, yes. Loki, well, perhaps you do need to move forward. Would you like to join my familia? Ryu, that would be an honor, but my background is bad and you may be aware of the bounty of 80 million Valis on my head. Loki, 80 million is an awful lot, but let me take care of that. Just tell me if you would want to join. I am sure Freya would also be happy to accept you, and she should also be able to take care of your bounty issue. Ryu, I would prefer to join the Loki familia. Curious Loki, good. I would like to ask why you prefer us versus Freya or Ganesha or Hermes. Ryu, first, you are leading the charge against the creatures. Second, I think I would fit in here better because I believe I got to know a lot of your members over the years. Puzzled Loki, but I can tell there is something else important. Stunned Ryu, suddenly remember that she cannot hide things from a god. Well, there is something else, but it is too embarrassing to mention. Very curious Loki, well, you should not keep secrets from your familia. Tomato Red Ryu, looking down, there is something I would like to avoid over at the Freya familia. Detective Loki, now we are getting somewhere. But you need to tell the whole story. So what is the situation you want to avoid? Super embarrassed Ryu, well, there is a situation with 2 people at the Folkvanga that I want to avoid. Interrogator Loki, good. But who are those people? Ready to faint Ryu, looking down. Bell Cranel and AIS Wallenstein, making Lefia gasp, and the senior executives have knowing looks and smiles. Executioner Loki, and why do you not want to see the rabbit and AIS? Have they offended or threatened you? Defeated Ryu, it is because I am in love with Bell and I do not want to see them as a couple every day. Making Lefia's fist tightened as noticed by Filvis. Satisfied Loki, I see. Well, that is a good explanation. I have cried many times and nights over this myself. Well, I can respect that, and it is a good reason. Don't worry, your secret crush is safe with us. Loki continued, well, Ryu, I will give you my Falna now, as the other members left to give them some privacy. As Loki gave Ryu her Falna, she thought about some groping with Ryu's slender body, ample curves, and smooth skin. However, she decided to respect Ryu's situation with Estrella for now. She will give an unsuspecting Ryu a proper initiation into the familia later. The familia bath would be a good location. As everyone else waited outside, Filvis saw Lefia was fuming mad. Filvis, what is wrong? Lefia. Fuming Lefia, everyone is in love with that rabbit. Filvis smirked, do you finally admit your feelings? Tomato Red Lefia, I only hate that rabbit. I have no other feelings towards him. Earning knowing smiles from Finn, Gareth, Reveria, and Filvis. Fortunately for Lefia, Loki screamed, wow, a level 5. All right, you can come back in now. I am done with her. After everyone re-entered the room, Ryu had more information. Lady Estrella confirmed our theory. All connections between Lady Estrella and her former members were terminated 5 years ago on the day of the massacre. So my former colleagues died and their souls were released. So they do not have power from Astrea. Of course, as you stated, Astrea died today. Ryu continued, also Lady Astrea keeps her fauna in a convertible state so another god could have given those members a fauna. Finn, well the question now is did anyone else give them a fauna? If they have no one else other than Thanatos or Dionyse, then we may be in luck Reveria. That appears to be a risk we are going to have to take Loki, we now have a lot to do. Reveria, you and I have to talk to Ganesha to take care of Ryu's situation. Finn and Gareth, take Ryu, Lefia, and Filvis with you to Folkvanga. Update them on what Ryu said and do some planning for the mission. Ryu, sorry, but you need to be in this meeting. Ryu, I understand. I will not allow my personal feelings from getting in the way of the Familia's good. Earning a thumbs up from a winking Loki going for the cute look. At Ganesha home, Loki and Reveria went to talk to Ganesha. After bonking Ganesha on the head for too many I am Ganesha declarations, Loki got Ganesha's support for Ryu's reinstatement. They would go to the guild the next day to talk to Uranos. At the Folkvanga, Finn, Gareth, Filvis, Lefia and Ryu met with Freya, Otter, Bell and AIS. Finn explained what happened with Astrea, and Freya agreed that the mission needs to start soon. Tentatively, they would head into the dungeon in 3 days. Freya then told them about Haroheim's level up, and that their success may hinge on her super-secret boosting ability. Finn also got Freya to agree to go with them to see Uranos the next day. Ryu was extremely appreciative of Freya's support. As AIS showed everyone her new room, Freya eyed Ryu to stay behind with her. Freya, Ryu, do not be concerned, but may I ask why you did not want to join my Familia? Ryu, Lady Freya, please do not take offense, but I just know Loki's members better. Freya smiled, but there is something you are not telling me. Embarrassed Ryu, yes, there is a small personal matter. Smiling Freya, you can tell me. I am good with secrets, unable to looking Freya in the eye. Tomato red Ryu, there are 2 people I am trying to avoid. Smiling Freya, really? I did not think anyone in my Familia would have offended you. Did something happen on the trip? Forced into a corner, defeated Ryu confessed for the 2nd time in the same day. No. I am in love with Bell Cranel and it hurts to see him with AIS everyday. Victorious Freya, I thought so. Well, your secret is safe with me. I hope you would not mind if I ask for a favor from you sometime. Ryu bowed. Lady Freya, I would be honored to assist you if I can. At the hostess, that night at the hostess. Bell, AIS, Freya, Lily, Haroheim and Welf went for dinner, though Bell and AIS were helping out in their maid uniforms before and after dinner. Loki was also there with her members, and Lefia, Filvis, Tiona, and Tyon also continued to help. Seeing that the regular crew is back, Mia gathered the new crew and the old crew to have a talk. She also asked Freya and Loki to join in. Mia, I want to thank everyone for your help. I don't know what I would have without your help. I would like to offer all of you a free celebration dinner every month. Which led to a lot of cheers. Mia, there is also a little favor I would like to ask. Due to the celebrity of your group, business has been wonderfully great. I am worried that business would collapse when you go back to adventuring. Bell, oh, we are not great, but I would be happy to help once in a while. AIS, me too. Tiona, Tyon, Lefia, Filvis, you can count on us. Also Freya, well, we could slowly reduce their presence over time. Lily, would you be willing to help using your special power? Lily will be happy to help. Quickly changing into Bell and then soon into AIS. As AIS, Lily then gave Loki a little kiss on the cheek, making Loki go into orbit with happiness. As they attended to Loki, Mia, well, thank you for your support of the hostess. Happy Loki, well, it is our favorite restaurant and we want you to live and prosper. After the chat, everyone carried away their drunks and went to bed early with the mission coming really soon. The next day, Loki, Freya and Finn went to see Uranos. When the guards put up some resistance, Freya smiled at them. Uranos, well, what is happening? Freya and Loki. Loki, are you aware there could be many more creatures? Uranos, I had the concern, but looks like you are confirming it. Loki, it appears that many former members of the Astrea Familia were turned into creatures. We do not know how powerful they are. We will be deep into the dungeon to try to destroy the floors that they are using to incubate jewel fetus. Uranos, that is good. Loki, we need your help. The Gale is a former member of the Astrea Familia and we need her help in dealing with the creatures. I have given her my fauna. Could you assist at the guild with her record? Uranos, consider it done. The Xenos would like to help in these matters. Fells will coordinate with your group. I believe Asteris may be interested in a rematch with Bell Freya. That would be great. I think Bell needs a great battle to level up. Could you arrange for something soon on the 5th floor? Uranos, Fel will be in touch with you soon. Friendly competition. A couple hours after their talk with Uranos, Fels came over to the Folkvanga. A battle with Asturias has been arranged for the next day at 10 a.m. on the 2nd floor. Fels conveyed the message from Asturias that he was really looking forward to the competition with Bell. That night, Freya, Otter, Bell, AIS, Welf and Haraheim went to dinner at the hostess again. Meeting them, there were the Loki executives with Filvis and Lefia. It was Bell, AIS and Lefia's turn to work as servers at the hostess, so they were in uniform during dinner. Ryu was also working to help out Mia, but she sat in the discussion during dinner. Freya, the match with Asturias will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. It will be on the 2nd floor. Loki, we will be there. AIS, I will sit in also since it is only the 2nd floor. Riveria, all right, but you need to stay relaxed. Sad. AIS, I understand. Freya, Loki, you and I can watch on the side. It will be fine on the 2nd floor. Loki, yes, it will be interesting. Freya, there is more good news. Haraheim's leveling improved her boosting ability. She can boost 9 people at the same time now. And for about as long a period as she was doing at level 1 with 5 people. Loki started counting Bell, Otter, Finn, Alan, Riveria, Gareth, Lefia, Filvis. That is 8-inch. Freya, those are good choices. Then we will decide the last one between my level 6 members and your beaten twins for the last 2. Loki, yes, 9 would give us Otter and Filvis at level 8, 2 boosted mags, Bell at level 6 or hopefully 7, and 4 more level 7 fighters. Finn, yes, after battling a healthy Asturias, hopefully Bell will be level 6. Freya, it would definitely be good for Bell's stats, but I am actually unsure whether beating a healthy Asturias would be enough. Bell already beat an injured Asturias at level 4. Loki, well, it will be much better than training though. Otter, yes, that is for sure. The next day on the 2nd floor, executives from the Loki Familia and Freya Familia met with the Xenos at 10 a.m. To their surprise, Asturias was wearing armor in addition to wielding his double axe. Just in case, Marie, the Xenos mermaid with healing powers, was carried to the 2nd floors in a pool of water, and Amid also attended the match just in case. Otter was the referee, while Freya and Loki also sneaked in with Finn and Alan guarding them. Otter, the only time I will step in is if someone is in danger of dying. Otherwise, enjoy your battle and there are plenty of healing potions, then backing off to give the 2 combatants plenty of space. Bell and Asturias were ready and bowed to each other before the fight. The 2 combatants then jumped into action. Axe vs double daggers clashed with neither giving ground. After a couple minutes, Bell had a slight cut on his arm while Asturias also had a couple nicks. Asturias starting talking crap. Rabbit stew will be served today. Tasty with carrots and peas. Bell chuckled, more like prime rib medium rare. We have horseradish. That made some in the audience hungry, but fortunately Ryu bought some snacks for everyone from the hostess. While the twins and Welf were chowing down, AIS could not eat and could barely watch. That caused huge concerns from Freya, Loki, Finn, and Riveria. To help keep AIS calm, Freya used her charm, which helped a lot. Nobody wanted Dark AIS to emerge at this point. With AIS under charm, everyone could concentrate on the match again. Bell was fighting Asturias really well with Ox Slayer kicking in and his built-up stats. At the same time, Asturias seemed to have improved, and is fighting at full health unlike last time. As a result, the fighting was still pretty even. Bell got a good slash into the mid-body through the armor, but Asturias gave Bell a broken nose at the same time. Like the last battle, the twins were fangirls while Beat was jealous. At the same time, Otter was thinking that Bell has caught up, while Finn and Gareth realized they were clearly surpassed. Fortunately, with Freya's charm, AIS was okay, but Loki and Freya were both thinking Ai's condition is going to be difficult to manage. 30 minutes into the battle, Bell had not used his magic. Going for a change of pace, several firebolts were fired. However, most of the energy were reflected back at Bell, launching him against a wall. That made everyone jump, but Bell was still okay though a bit burned. Asturias, little rabbit, how do you like my juggernaut armor? A slightly charred Bell got back up very good. But it is time to ride a steer. Asturias, rabbit stew not finished cooking yet. I like my rabbit, well done. The 2 then went back to their intense battle, but Bell now knows he cannot use his magic as long as the juggernaut armor was intact. A few more minutes of fighting later, Bell got his revenge when he was able to launch a 3-second charge punch into Asturias' left arm, which apparently breaking it. Retreating back a few steps, Asturias gripped his left arm good, but my right arm holds the axe. Bell surrender now to avoid a spanking. Asturias, never. Time to slaughter a rabbit without a left arm. Asturias' defense was less effective, and Bell started to get a clear upper hand. In the next few minutes, the beating started. More slashes and more blood spilled. Bell was able to get a few punches in with short charges. With the opponent staggering, more Argonaut-charged attacks were launched, finally resulting in the knockdown of Asterace. Lying on the ground, Asterace, you win. 2 in a row. I want a rematch soon. Bell helped Asterace up and laughed. Prime rib tastes good, a bitter pill which Asterace accepted. As the medical care was applied, Bell and Asterace were soon like new. AIS was then allowed to go to Bell and give him a hug. AIS admitted, it was difficult for me. Bell, yes, this may not have been a good idea, making AIS pout. Reveria, yes, I think we should not repeat this. Freya, AIS, yes, I have to use my full charm powers to keep you calm. Loki, Asapu, no more. After the match, everyone had a small feast on the second floor before leaving. The Loki executives then followed the Freya group to the Folkvanga. The first matter was Bell's stats. Freya did an update, and it was a healthy jump but no leveling. Level 5 strength, 1223 endurance, 1368 agility, 1391 dexterity, 1175 magic, 1382 skill, Argonaut, Ox Slayer, Love Magic, Firebolt development ability, Luck, Abnormal resistance, Escape, Magic resistance. With Bell's improvement and Haraheim's leveling, they are now ready to clean up the deep floors. An urgent mission given the potential for the enemy to rapidly raise their levels. Time is of the essence. With Bell's improvement and Haraheim's leveling, they are now ready to start their attack. After Bell's status update, they finalized their plans. With their Knossos experience, they were definitely not going to leave Freya and Loki exposed. Thus, after final updates, Freya and Loki immediately flew away with Ganesha, Dien Sect and Hephaestus on Ganesha's tamed dragons. Along with the 5 deities, AIS, Tiona, Tyon, Ryu, and Tsubaki went with them to a location only known to a small number of children. The lead raiding party consisted of Otta, Bell, Alan, Finn, Gareth, Philvis, Haydeen, Beat, Asterace, and Hogni. A trailing party consisted of the Gulliver brothers, Welf, Haraheim, Esfi, Amid, Lefia and Reveria, and the remaining Xenos. The trailing party would remain a distance of about 200 feet behind the lead party, so the two parties would be in clear visual range of each other most of the time. At the Babel, Shakti and Hermes would be the commanders in charge of city defenses, with the level 5 adventurers of the Ganesha Familia providing the primary defense. Remaining Loki, Freya, Hephaestus, and Hermes members would support them in this task. Fortunately, the Hephaestus Familia had already placed additional locks in the Knossos entrances. To fortify the main Babel entrance, the Hephaestus Familia and Goibnu Familia immediately added 2 extremely thick walls. Only very narrow openings were provided in these walls for adventurers to go through, with gates and heavy locks. During the mission, the Ganesha members would man the entrances, prohibiting adventurers from entering the dungeon. To maintain the secrecy of the mission that evening, the team ate together and slept at the Folkvanga. Early next morning, the lead raiding party and the trailing party headed off into the dungeon. After they walked through the main entrance, the Ganesha members immediately closed off the dungeon while sending all other adventurers back home. For the early floors, the two parties traveled together. The enormous group did not encounter any trouble, as the monsters were scared of them. After passing through the 18th floor, the two parties separated into formations separated by 200 feet. By lunchtime, they were on the 24th floor. After a quiet meal, they continued to march down until the 35th floor, where they spent the night. Even during the night watch, they maintained the 200 feet separation. The next morning, after a quick breakfast, the two parties continued down the dungeon. They then continued to the 50th floor before a very early lunch break. The mission then continued with a rapid descent, destroying the typical monsters like Vergus, spiders, and dragons, while avoiding fireballs from Valang dragons on the 58th floor. After arriving on the 58th floor, everyone took a break and drank some potions. Reveria then activated protective magic using Veil Breath. At the same time, Haraheim and Welf put on their Hades hat and each wore a cowbell so their friends knew where they are. They then entered the entrance for the 59th floor and soon saw a lush green tropical jungle instead of the burnt-out battlefield from their last trip. As they traversed the dense jungle, they had a déjà vu experience with an enormous plant eating an endless supply of Vergus for their magic stones. At that point, the plant turned towards them, and they immediately were able to positively identify a demi-spirit. As they planned, one of the Gulliver brothers carried Haraheim as the trailing party ran towards the lead party. While they ran, Haruheim activated Kohono and then chanted Yukai no Kazuchi. After which Haruheim promptly boosted Bell, Otter, Filvis, Reveria, Lefia, Finn, Alan, Gareth, and Hogni. After being boosted, Bell started charging Argonaut, while Reveria chanted via Shilheim and Lefia prepared to use Dio Grail. While they launched into action, the Demi-Spirit also started chanting a long spell. Not taking any chances, Bell launched his Argonaut Firebolt only after 2 minutes of charging, which did enormous damage. When the explosion cleared, they saw a destroyed Demi-Spirit. The top half of the plant was completely burned away with its magic stone destroyed. Happy Finn, great job Bell. You completely burned it and much of the surround Virga happy Reveria. Yes, the last time on this floor, he was not able to completely destroy the Demi-Spirit as he was level 2. Now he has the magic stats equivalent of an advanced level 7. Otter, we should find the exit and burn down the other floors. Finn agreed, let's hope we are able to destroy the enemy before they are able to level the other creatures. After some searching and killing some monsters, they reached level 60, which was another dense jungle. As they started scouting the floor, they suddenly received a call from the surface, which Finn answered. Is screaming, we have been played. We are under attack. The creatures and the corrupted spirit are here. We are getting spanked badly. The whole city is in panic and many have left the city gates. Shakti, at least 5 creatures busted through the new gates at the Babel. All appear to be female. We think they exploded Kensuke. There are reported sightings of the corrupted spirit as a green floating mass with countless tentacles. No reports of activity at Nosso's entrances. The creatures are at least level 6 with at least 1 level 7. We tried to resist. Mia was defeated before the hostess was burned to the ground. We managed to save her. We have not won a single fight. Many are dead. We are using magic to try to hold them off, but we are almost driven out of the city. We are buying time for citizens to evacuate. Disaster. In a hidden location. Freya, I just received a distress call from Aura Rio. Loki, don't tell me, AIS the creatures are attacking. Freya, yes, and while we are raiding deep in the dungeon. The creatures went around our raiding parties and did an end run. Loki, we got played. At that point, everyone else in the group joined in the conversation. Hephaestus, how bad is it? Freya, at least 5 creatures broke through the new gates at the Babel. We have lost every fight, and they killed many. Mia was defeated by one of them, but was saved by the Ganesha Familia. The creatures do not appear to use magic, and we have been using attack spells to buy time for the city to evacuate. Tiona, we have to go back and fight. AIS, we have to protect the goddesses. Tyon beats Tiona. Yes, use your brain. If Loki returns to heaven, all our friends lose their power inside the dungeon. Loki, we need to wait for our main army to return. Tiona, don't worry, you will get your chance to fight. At that time in Aura Rio, Hermes as he runs from a woman in green armor throwing a huge rock at him. A pretty beat-up Mia rushes to Hermes and explodes the huge rock with her fist. Hermes thanks. Several mags launches attack spells at the woman who hid behind a building wall. On the 60th floor, Finn, we have to divide up. Otter go with Asteris, Amid, Gareth, Haydeen, Hogni and the Gulliver brothers towards the surface. Lefia will provide mage support for your group. Since the creatures may be focused on the main dungeon entrance, use a Nosso's entrance, preferably as far from the center of town as possible. The rest of us will burn down as many floors as we can and join you as fast as we can. Otter understood. We'll be in communications through the devices as Otter and his group ran towards the 59th floor entrance. Finn, now let's find out if there is an enemy on the floor. Asfi, please fly up to take a look. But use your Hades hat just in case. When you are done, meet us near the 59th floor entrance, as Asfi flies off using her invisibility item. Finn then went to the entrance with Bell, Reveria, Beat, Alan, Filvis and the Xenos, Welf and Haruheim. A few minutes later, Asfi met up with the group at the 59th floor entrance. Asfi, I saw what looked like the remains of a demi-spirit. I also found what looked like the 61st floor entrance. Finn, sounds like its magic stone has been harvested for a creature. Haruheim, please give Reveria a boost. Reveria, please burn this floor down. After receiving the boost from Yukai no Kazuchi, Reveria launched Ria Levitine as an advanced level 7, which burned most of the floor down. Finn, alright, let's do the same on the 61st floor, as they headed to the entrance while Reveria drank a couple potions. Finn, Otter, we just burned down the 60th floor. There is the remains of a demi-spirit, but it appears the magic stone was already harvested for a creature, and then proceeded to report the same to Hermes and Shakti and then Loki and Freya. In Aura Rio, Hermes, Shakti, and a group of defenders were fighting against a creature. Magic versus rocks. Fortunately, most of the citizens were able to leave safely. In the hidden location, Loki, we need to plan a counterattack. Hephaestus, assuming the enemy cannot figure out where we are, then we should be able to send at least Tiona and Tyon to help. Freya, we need to figure out how many creatures there are. Loki, I agree with Freya. If their number of creatures is less than 10, then our main army is enough, assuming they are level 7 or below. Freya, Haraheim would be able to boost Otter and Filvis to level 8. So each should be able to take out a creature fighting like a level 7. Bell would be boosted to an advanced level 6 fighting like an advanced level 7. He should also be able to take out another creature. Now if the creatures are equivalent to a level 8, then we are in big trouble. Loki, yes. We need people in Aura Rio to give us some information. Hephaestus, right. Let's wait for more information. Ryu, I should go back because there may be a chance they will recognize me. Freya, that is a good point, and could reduce the amount of bloodshed. Loki, well, let's wait to hear from our main forces and from Hermes. On the 61st floor, Finn had Esfi scout the floor, and she again discovered the remains of a demi-spirit. Reveria once burned down the floor after boosting by Haraheim. Finn then called Loki. Loki, we just burned down the 61st floor. Just like the 60th floor, there is the remains of a demi-spirit. So it appears the magic stone was already harvested for another creature, and then proceeded to report the same to Otter and also Hermes and Shakti. Afterwards, Finn, let's do the same on the 62nd floor. And the group headed to the 62nd floor entrance. On the 62nd floor, Finn's group again discovered the remains of another demi-spirit. As Haraheim boosted Reveria, the entire dungeon appeared to make strange noises. The monsters on the floor started to go berserk and rampage towards them near the 61st floor entrance. With no time to spare, Bell launched several firebolts to take out the bigger threats while Reveria started to chant Ria Levatine. Suddenly, Finn received a call from Hermes. Finn, we now have big trouble. A column of light just shot towards heaven from Urano's location, the end of the world. On the 62nd floor, Finn received a call and it was from Hermes. Big trouble. A column of light just shoot towards heaven from Urano's location. Finn, oh no, the monsters here appeared to have gone crazy. Hermes, you people must evacuate the city ASAP. Hermes, we are doing our best. Finn, please tell Loki and Freya, and that we are burning down the 62nd floor. Then we will head back up as the magic stones of the demi-spirits on the 60th floor, 61st floor, and 62th floor have already been harvested, probably for different creatures. So it appears there will be at least 3 creatures at level 7, but there are potentially more. As Finn and Hermes talked, Reveria casted Ria Levatine. But now they can clearly see a large number of monsters entering the 62nd floor from the 63rd floor. Finn, Lord Hermes, we have real big trouble. It does appear Uranos has returned to heaven. So without his prayers, the monsters are going berserk and probably heading to the Babel entrance. Finn then called Otter. Otter, more really bad news. It appears Uranos was forced to return to heaven. So the monsters here have all gone berserk and appear to be heading towards the surface. Be careful of monsters coming up from behind you. Otter, yes, we have seen the same. Fortunately, Lefia was able to destroy most of the monsters on the floor when it happened. We will continue to head back up as fast as we can. In Aura Rio, as the defenders continue to help residents evacuate, Hermes called Loki and Freya to update them on what happened. Hermes, bad news. It seems Uranos has returned to heaven, and monsters in the dungeon are rampaging towards the surface. Freya, this is the nightmare scenario. Hermes, Finn asked me to tell you that the magic stones of at least 3 demi-spirits have been harvested. So there is likely at least 3 creatures fighting at level 7. Freya, so they are doing okay. Hermes, yes, they have burned down 3 floors, but they are heading back towards the surface now. They will not go any deeper, and we will not know how many level 7 creatures there are. Freya, Hermes, what is the latest count of creatures and their fighting level? Hermes, what we have seen is at least 7 creatures. The only level 7 we can confirm is probably the one that defeated Mia. We can assume the other ones are at least level 6. But Finn reported that the enemy has harvested the magic stones of at least 3 magic stones. As Filvis said, 1 magic stone from a demi-spirit could level a creature from 6 to 7. Loki, Hermes, are there any other enemies beyond the creatures and the corrupted spirit? Hermes, none that we are aware of. Loki, we will tell Finn and Otter about the latest information on the creatures. On the 61st floor, as Finn and his group ran towards the 60th floor entrance, he received Loki's call. Loki, Finn, the latest count is at least 7 creatures and we can only confirm 1 creature is level 7. The other ones are presumably at least level 6. We are not aware of other enemies except the corrupted spirit Finn, however. All the monsters in the dungeon appear to be heading towards the surface. Rio is going to get really ugly. Loki, do the best you can. I am ordering you to come back alive. Finn shall do. You need to stay alive also, Finn. I will let Otter know. Getting through to Otter. Finn, Otter. The latest is that there are at least 7 creatures, but they can only confirm one creature is level 7. The other ones are at least level 6. There are no other known enemies except the corrupted spirit, Otter, other than the monsters that get to the surface. We just reached the 45th floor. All the monsters seem to have left. Each floor now literally has no monsters except for the new ones spawning in the Colosseums. Finn, right. When they get to the 60th floor entrance, a huge number of monsters have already arrived from the 62nd floor and rushing towards them. Bell, Sv, please stay with me. They are lined up really nicely for my attack. Finn, continue heading up. After my attack, Sv and I can catch up using her Teleria. As Bell starts charging. 4 minutes later, an Argonaut-charged firebolt wiped out most of the monsters entering from the 62nd floor. Bell and Sv then flew up to catch up to Finn's group on the 60th floor. In the hidden location, Loki, Tiona and Ryu fly back to Rio and give us aerial surveillance of the creatures. Freya, Ryu, I can see your tension, but do not unnecessarily sacrifice yourself for your former comrades. Hephaestus, yes. They likely have no memory of you or their previous life. Ryu bowed. I understand. Thank you for your concern. Tiona, let's go and fight. Getting one of Ganesh's tamed dragons. Loki, Tiona, we need the surveillance to protect our friends. Do not just jump into battle like a crazy Amazon. That is an order. Tiona, yes. Loki, Ryu, keep Tiona under control. Ryu, I will do my best. On the 60th floor, seeing Sv's use of Teleria, Finn then decided to utilize Teleria to catch up to Otter's group. So Sv kept ferrying the group up the dungeon, one adventurer at a time, 2 floors at a time. Filvis, at level 7, is always the first to be ferried, while Bell was always the last one to be ferried with his ability to protect himself using Argonaut. Before leaving the 60th floor, Bell would use a 3-minute Argonaut-charged firebolt to clean up the monsters before meeting with Finn's group on the 58th floor. After a few hours, this allowed them to catch up to Otter's group on the 37th floor. It was getting late, and they stopped for a quick dinner on the 32nd floor. Instead of stopping for the night, they drank potions for stamina and kept heading towards the surface. By 3 in the morning, they were getting close to the 18th floor. They did not have time to check on Rivera, but it was time for some decisions. On the 22nd floor, Finn, Bell, you and Sv should stay on this floor. Wait for the monsters to catch up and use your cannon to take out as many as you can. Then retreat 1 floor at a time and repeat the same strategy. If possible, collapse as many entrances as possible to buy us more time. Make sure you do not go mine down. Bell, yes, we can do that. Sv, Bell, drink a potion and get some rest. We need your mind to be as fresh as possible after the 2 groups left. Bell had an hour of rest before the monsters started rampaging from the 23rd floor. Bell charged as Sv carried him to the 21st floor entrance with the monsters chasing them. Timing it properly, they flew about 400 feet past the floor entrance before Bell fired a 3-minute charged firebolt. Soon on the 18th floor, Finn calls Loki, Loki, we are now on the 18th floor and heading to the surface. We want to use both the Babel entrance and a Knossos entrance. Loki, hang on. I sent Tiona and Ryu to gather surveillance from the air. Freya is checking on their status. Freya, Tiona, where are you? Tiona, we are now above Rio. It is bad. Most of the citizens have evacuated. The guild is in ruins and burned down, and so is the hostess. Freya, where are the creatures and the corrupted spirit? Ryu, I see 5 creatures around the Babel. There are 4 other creatures that are scattered running around the city. A lot of low-level and mid-level monsters are coming out of the Babel entrance. Fortunately, the new walls in the Babel limit the rate that monsters that can escape. There are many dead adventurers. Freya, so there are 9 creatures. Are there any creatures in the Daedalus area? Ryu, not at this time, but they are moving around quickly. Freya, do you see the corrupted spirit? Tiona, no we don't. Freya to Finn, there are 9 creatures. 5 are around the Babel and 4 are scattered throughout the city. None near Daedalus Street area at this moment, but they are moving around quickly. Freya, Finn, there are numerous low-level and mid-level monsters pouring into the city. Finn, Otter, take your group through the Knossos. Stay in touch with me and also with Tiona and Freya. I will call you when we get near the main entrance. That will hopefully draw the attention of the creatures to us and give you an easier entry to the surface. Otter understood. Finn beat. Princess carry Reveria so she can get some rest to save some mind. Finn Allen, please do the same with Heroheim. Otto also lifted up Lefia and carried her princess style as his group headed to the Nosso's entrance. An hour later on the 5th floor, Bell and Asfi finally caught up to Finn's group. Finn then calls Tiona. Tiona, is there any big change? Where are the creatures? Tiona still 5 around the Babel. 4 scattered around. None in Daedalus Street area. A lot of mid-level monsters are now pouring out of the Babel entrance. No sign of the corrupted spirit. Finn thanks. Please update Otter and Loki, which Tiona does. A few minutes later on the 3rd floor, Finn's group reached the floor. They saw an enormous number of monsters collected on the floor. It seems that all the monsters above the 60th floor had collected on the first 3 floors of the dungeon. Finn called Otter. There are so many monsters that it seems the first 3 floors are entirely filled with monsters. We are now going to burn these floors down and hopefully draw the attention of the creatures. Otter, we are almost at the surface entrance. We will wait for your attack before opening the entrance. Finn then confirms the situation with Tiona, while Heroheim chants Kohono and then Yukaide no Kozuchi. Then Heroheim boosts Reveria, Finn, Filvis, Beat, Allen, Bell, and Asfi. Finn once Reveria attacks. Bell, you, Filvis, Allen, Beat and I will charge. We will have roughly 5 level 7 combatants against the 5 creatures. Hopefully not all of them are at level 7 strength. Reveria, Asfi, Welf and the remaining Xenos will stay and protect Heroheim. Beware of monsters coming from behind us. Finn Filvis, you are fighting at level 8. Take out the weakest creature as soon as you can so we can have numbers. Filvis understood. Finn Bell, you do the same with Argonaut. Bell yes, with Heroheim's boosting, Reveria casted Rhea Levitine. Death everywhere, on the 3rd floor, with Heroheim's boosting, Reveria casted Rhea Levitine, causing a huge fireball on the floor. As Reveria used a potion, Finn called Otter. Reveria just launched her spell. We will attack as soon as the fire clears. Otter, we are heading to the entrance. Tiona called. Finn, we heard the explosion. No sign of any magic from here though. There are still 5 creatures around the Babel. 3 are closer. 2 are very nearby. Tiona called Otter. In the Nossos there are no creatures we can see near Daedalus. A minute later, Tiona called. Finn, the 3 creatures ran inside towards the entrance area. The 2 other ones are also heading there but are about 1,000 feet behind. Finn Filvis, Bell, you 2 lead. I will follow with Allen and Beat. Finn Reveria, your group should follow after us but leave a big gap and watch for anything weird. Otter calls. Finn, we are outside on the surface. Do not see any enemy at the moment other than monsters that are no threat. Bell Filvis, try to keep the monsters away from me while I charge Argonaut. At that point, Filvis and Bell led the charge through the charred 3rd floor with the rest following. When they reached the 2nd floor, they saw all types of monsters like pollutas, flame rocks, and black rhinos on the 2nd floor. As Filvis chopped up the monsters, Finn kept a watch for the creatures. Soon, they saw 3 women in green armor cutting their way through the monsters. Finn Bell, Filvis, I see 3 creatures. Try to take out the weaker 2. According to Tiona, there will be 2 more coming. Bell and Filvis eagerly charged through the monsters to get to the creatures. Beat and Allen followed after them. Finn stayed behind and continued to fight the remaining monsters while keeping an eye out for the 2 other creatures. Finn to Reveria's group, try to pick up the dropped Kensuke from the flame rocks that I kill, and Asfi quickly followed after Finn to pick up the drop items. As a creature got close, Bell launched Firebolt with 2 minutes of charge. At his boosted power level, it was an enormous blast that wiped out the monsters in front of him and burned away the left arm of the creature while causing a lot of other damage. Bell then immediately pressed his advantage before it could regenerate. Filvis headed towards the weakest-looking creature and attacked mercilessly. With the strength of a level 8, Filvis overpowered the creature and caused a lot of damage. Beat and Allen ganged up on the 3rd creature, and the 2 had a big advantage fighting against 1 creature they gauged to have the strength of a mid-level 7. In the Daedalus Street area, Otter and Asteris led the charge as their group quickly passed through the Daedalus Street area. Tiona and Ryu were guiding them towards one of the creatures. As they approached the creature near the entertainment area, Tiona and Ryu went off to patrol other areas of the city. At the city walls near the Twilight Manor, Mia, the hostess girls and a few adventurers were having a lot of trouble with a creature. Suddenly Tiona and Ryu approached from above, and Tiona jumped off from the flying dragon for a sneak attack. Even though the creature noticed the attack in the last second, the Urga still landed a deep slash. Now Mia and Tiona ganged up on the creature together, with the hostesses attacking when an opportunity came up. On the 3rd floor, with strength difference of about 1 level, Filvis scored several nasty cuts into the creature. At that point, LYD jumped in to try to get a quick kill. With the damage from the Argonaut firebolt, Bell slashed the creature a few times. Suddenly Gross flew in to get an attack from the creature's backside. Beat and Alan also were having a big advantage over their creature, but could not quite yet hit its magic stone. Finn, in the meantime, killed stray monsters and kept a watch for the other two creatures. As soon as the two showed up, Finn went to intercept. Finn beat, two other creatures showed up. Come help me, as Beat disengaged and followed after Finn. Finn Gross, LYD, fall back to protect Reveria and Harrowheim. I will be busy fighting those 2-inch at that point. About 5 minutes had gone by, so Harrowheim would be able to hold on for a few more minutes. In the entertainment area, Otter, Asturias, and the others surrounded one creature. After a couple minutes, they chopped off an arm, and then soon the magic crystal was destroyed. Afterwards, Otter called Tiona for surveillance information. Tiona, we destroyed one creature. Where are the others? Ryu. Tiona jumped off to help Mia fight with one near Twilight Manor. The other ones are all over the city. Wait, 2 are heading back to the Babel. Quick, go to the Babel. Otherwise the creatures will get an advantage in firepower. Hearing that, Otter, Asturias and their group rushed towards the Babel. However, Lefia called Ryu to come pick her up so she could launch attacks from the air against both monsters and creatures. Once in the air, Lefia started chanting Elf Ring. Once done, she started chanting Ria Levitine. At the city wall near the Twilight Manor, Mia, the hostesses, and Tiona were still ganging up on their creature together. Even with the big advantage in numbers, including 2 level 6, Mia, the hostesses and Tiona were unable to do any better than an even fight. At the same time, a group of lower-level adventurers were engaging a large group of mid-level monsters. Death and killing were happening all over the city. Hermes, who was hiding behind the wall with a few others, called Loki. Hermes Loki, Tiona dropped in and is fighting against a creature with Mia and a few others. The fight is pretty even. How are the others doing? Loki, the latest we heard from Reveria is that Finn, Bell, Filvis, and others were fighting with 5, though Bell managed to kill one and Filvis defeated another. Also Amid said that Otter, Asturias, and their group managed to kill one creature, but are now chasing after 2 creatures that are heading into the Babel. Hermes, if they get things under control, we could probably use some assistance near the Twilight Manor. Loki, I will let them know to send some help. On the 3rd floor, after a couple minutes, with the level difference in power, Filvis finally hit the creature really hard, knocking it against the far wall. Filvis then launched herself to go for the kill, immediately crushing both legs of the creature. At that point, Bell managed to cut off the other arm of his creature before the first damaged arm was able to fully regenerate. With the huge advantage, Bell quickly managed to stab a dagger into the creature's magic stone. In the meantime, Alan continued to fight his creature. Even without Beat, he still had an advantage as the creature was far from regenerated from their many deep slashes. At the same time, Finn was having an even battle against his creatures while Beat was at a slight disadvantage against his. Seeing Beat's situation, Bell walked slowly towards Beat while charging Argonaut. 15 seconds later, Bell yelled, "Beat, get away quick." Realizing what was going to happen, Beat immediately jumped away, and Bell launched Firebolt. The spell did significant damage to the creature, and Bell immediately jumped in to press his advantage. Beat then sneak attacked the creature fighting against Finn, managing to land a deep slash. Near the Babel, Ryu and Lefia reached the Babel on the flying dragon. Fortunately, they got there before the creatures were going to go inside the dungeon entrance. That allowed Lefia to cast Ria Levitine at the 2 creatures. The spell caused some damage, but with Lefia's lower level, mostly made the creatures angry. One creature charged towards them while flinging rocks at them. The other went inside the dungeon entrance. The rocks were hurled at high speed and the flying dragon was hit, causing Ryu and Lefia to fall towards the ground. As they plunged, Ryu managed to catch Lefia in a princess carry. Unfortunately, the creature ran towards them to get revenge. As they were landing, Ryu looked at the creature and immediately realized that used to be Kagaya, causing tears in her eyes. During the descent, Lefia had enough time to cast Arc's Ray at the creature. Realizing that was no longer Kagaya, Ryu carried Lefia away as fast as possible towards the direction they came from, as the Arc's Ray brought them a few precious seconds by temporarily blinding the Kagaya creature. Unfortunately, the Kagaya creature was much faster and quickly caught up. Seeing there was no mercy in the Kagaya creature's eyes, Ryu threw Lefia as far as she could as she tried to defend herself. With a single slash, Ryu was brought down and the Kagaya creature chased after Lefia. Under pressure, at the hidden location, Freya called Otter to let him know that Tiona and Mia needed assistance near the Twilight Manor. Otter replied that they were rushing to the Babel and will immediately send Hogni and Gareth to assist Tiona and Mia. Loki then suggested that once they destroy the monster, will then turn Twilight Manor into an operating center. Otter also told them that the flying dragon was brought down. That completely freaked out Loki, but then she was relieved to hear that Ryu saved Lefia and that the two appeared to have a controlled landing. Loki then called Reveria to get the latest on their situation and was glad to hear that it was so far so good. Reveria was also shocked and then relieved to hear about what happened to Lefia and Ryu. AIS was also happy to hear that Bell was doing well, having killed one creature already, and started to get excited thinking how much Excelia he will gain if he killed another creature. Loki and Freya immediately told AIS to keep calm and not get overly excited. Instead, they suggested AIS take up some time and energy to look through Bell's old home. Tyon was worried about her sister in a battle against a level 7, but was also jealous that Tiona was getting all the action. Tsubaki was just sorry that she did not get to witness the battle for Orario. Between the entertainment area and the Babel, realizing Ryu and Lefia are probably in danger, Otter's group ran as fast as they could towards where the two landed. Gareth, Hogni and I will head immediately for the Twilight Manor. Asturias, Otter, you handle the one attacking Ryu and Lefia and the monsters on the surface. I will go myself into the dungeon to assist Bell and Finn, which Otter agreed with. Near the Babel, after Ryu was brought down, the Kagaya creature chased after Lefia. While the damage was severe, Ryu was able to use a potion that allowed her to get up. At that point, the Kagaya creature attacked Lefia. Lefia was quickly launched into a wall. As Lefia was about to be killed, Ryu slashed the creature in the back. The angry creature then went after Ryu. Soon, Ryu was brought down. At that time, Ark's ray hit the creature, which pausing it from the final blow. Kagaya creature turned its head to Lefia. You get to watch me kill your friend before I kill you. With Lefia mostly recovered after using a potion, Ryu yelled, "Run, Lefia." Lefia did run away, hoping to draw the creature away to buy more time. At the city walls near the Twilight Manor, Mia, the hostesses, and Tiona were still fighting with the creature. At the same time, a group of lower-level adventurers were fighting a large group of mid-level monsters. Hermes just received a call from Otter, who told him that Gareth and Hogni will come assist as soon as they can. Hermes also talked to Loki again, and both were worrying about where the corrupted spirit went. On the second floor, Bell had the upper hand over the creature he was fighting, and continued to deal serious blows and cuts. Alan was fighting with his creature, but the fight was now reasonably even as the creature was healing. At the same time, Filvis finally destroyed the magic stone of the creature she had disabled. Things looked good as Filvis saw Beat and Finn beating on their creature. Suddenly, another creature showed up and got a heavy strike against Beat from his blind side, launching Beat into a wall. That was a bad blow as bones were broken and the wolf was unconscious. Seeing Finn getting double-teamed, Filvis immediately went to assist Finn to even out the numbers. In the meantime, Asfi immediately went to check on Beat, pouring 2 potions on him. She then Princess carried the unconscious wolf back to Reveria's area. At that point, a few more minutes had passed, so only a couple minutes remained in Haraheim's boosting. To warn of the deadline, Reveria yelled out about 2 minutes. Near the Babel, as Lefia ran, the Kagaya creature realized she was trying to distract her from Ryu. Kagaya creature, no, I will kill this one first, leaving Lefia no choice but run back to try to attack. Smiling, Kagaya creature, well, you are a dumb one, but suddenly a dagger hit though missed the magic stone. Seeing the dagger attack, Lefia turned and saw Otter and his group. Otter, Lefia, back away. Let me deal with this creature. As Otter approached, the creature lost interest in Lefia and Ryu and had a scary smile approaching Otter. Meanwhile, Lefia carried the injured Ryu away and went to Amid, who was guarded by the Haydeen and the Gulliver brothers. At the city walls near the Twilight Manor, the creature managed to crush Tiona and knocked her 30 feet away against a wall. It then focused on Mia and the hostesses, and they were in a difficult situation again. Tiona was in bad shape, but fortunately, an adventurer quickly went and poured a potion on her. It was not quite enough, but it was enough for her to re-enter the fight. On the second floor, after the 2-minute warning, everyone was fighting as aggressively as they could while they still had the leveling benefit. In particular, Bell got many slashes in, as did Filvis. However, they were not able to get the finishing blow. Finn and Alan had close battles with their creatures, so losing the leveling would be huge. Reveria, Lyd and Gross, please go assist Finn and Alan before the time runs out. At that point, Beat woke up and got back on his feet. His wounds were healed, but Reveria told him to stay back while LYD and Gross assist. He would likely have to go assist though when the time runs out. Just before the 2 minutes passed, Bell finally managed to cut off the arm of his enemy and really started pushing. Once the 2 minutes passed, Finn, Alan, Gross and LYD were being pushed by the two creatures. However, Bell and Filvis still had a slight advantage over their creatures. At that point, Beat jumped in, but he went after the creature Bell was fighting instead of going to assist the others. With a sneak attack landing a deep slash, the creature lost its concentration for a split second, which was all Bell needed to chop off the other arm. Beat then kicked the creature hard against the wall, and Bell quickly jumped on and destroyed the magic stone. Bell and Beat then immediately went off to assist the others. Seeing that Filvis was still fighting with a slight advantage, Bell went to assist Finn and LYD, while Beat went to help Alan and Gross. As Bell rushed towards Finn and LYD, he managed to charge Argonaut for 5 seconds and casted the spell right at the creature from its blind side. If they could only take out one more creature, the numbers would be totally on their side. After the level boosting ended, Haruheim quickly used a potion and then chanted Yukai no Kozuchi again even though it was far too early. Somehow, she managed to boost Bell and yelled, "Bell, I don't know how long I can keep this up." With his level boosted again, Bell piled his attacks on as Finn and LYD attacked from the other angles. After a minute, Bell managed to break one leg of the creature, just before Haruheim went mind down. Even he lost the level boost, Bell was able to land 2 quick lashes on the creature as Finn was able to badly puncture the other leg of the creature. With both legs disabled, Bell pushed the creature on the ground and the three of them held it down while Bell destroyed the magic stone. With 2 creatures remaining, Finn, Bell, go help Filvis quickly finish her creature. LYD go back to protect Reveria's group. After that, Finn backed up and allowed the others to finish the creatures while he kept watch for any other creatures. Walking slowly towards Filvis and her creature, Bell was able to get a 1-minute charge before attacking. Filvis jumped back after Filvis got out of the way. Bell launched himself at the creature and casted the Argonaut firebolt at the same time. The 30-second charge resulted in enormous damage and burned away an arm as well as causing a lot of damage. Filvis and Bell then quickly jumped on the creature and Filvis crushed the magic stone. That left one creature, and Beat, Alan, and LYD were having an even fight with it. Filvis then joined that fight while Bell went to check on status with Finn. In the meantime, Reveria reported to everyone that Bell was roaming assassin getting 2 more kills while Filvis also got another kill. As Filvis, Alan, Beat, and LYD pounded on the remaining creature, an axe suddenly sliced off the head of the creature as Asturias announced his arrival. Near the Babel, Otto was having an intense battle with the Kagaya creature while Amid was treating Lefia and Ryu. At that time, the Gulliver brothers were providing perimeter defense, wiping out nearby monsters. Seeing an opening, Hayden did a sneak attack that resulted in a deep slash before jumping back out of the way. With the injured creature, Otto pressed his advantage and continued to pound away. After treating Lefia and Ryu, Amid reported the situation to Loki, Reveria, and Hermes. At the city walls near the Twilight Manor, even though Tiona re-entered the fight, they were having a tough time against the creature. Suddenly, Hogni jumped in, allowing Tiona to back off and use another potion. Hermes was happy to report that Hogni and Gareth arrived to Loki, Reveria, and Amid. On the second floor, with all 6 creatures killed, Finn made some quick decisions. Finn, Bell, you and Asturias go help kill off the remaining 2 creatures. Keep a lookout for the missing corrupted spirit Beat and Alan. Run to check the upper floors of the Babel. We need to get everyone out of the Babel. You have 15 minutes, Finn, everyone else. Pick up any additional Kensaki and let's go to the dungeon entrance area. We need to seal the dungeon entrance for now. As Bell, Asturias, Beat, and Alan went off, Finn and Filvis kept killing monsters on the second floor. 15 minutes later, after the Kensaki was gathered and the upper floors of the Babel cleared, Reveria casted Wind Fimbul Vita into the 3rd floor entrance to stop the flow of monsters from the dungeon. The group then headed to the dungeon entrance area on top. With about 100 pieces of Kensaki, the group collapsed the entire Babel building onto the dungeon entrance. With countless tons of rock falling into the entrance area, a good seal was achieved. By that time, Bell had reached the Twilight Manor area and used a 30-second charge of Argonaut as he blindsided the creature. The 30-second Argonaut firebolt burned away most of a leg, and everyone jumped onto the creature with Tiona crushing the magic stone. After the Argonaut use, Bell was nearly mined down. After a couple potions, he was feeling a bit better, but was still very tired. Also, Asturias reached the fight between Otter and the final creature. With one slice, an arm was chopped off. Otter and Asturias then jumped on the Kagaya creature and sliced on the second arm. Ryu yelled, "Please wait," stopping the two colleagues from performing the final blow. Memories. At the city walls near the Twilight Manor, Gareth and Hogni arrived and immediately joined the fight. Fighting along with Mia, they ganged up on the creature, allowing Tiona to quickly use another potion. After fully healing, Tiona jumped back in from a blind spot, landing a huge hit on the creature. The 4 level 6 adventurers then converged on the creature, pinning it to the ground. From that point, Anya jumped over top, stabbing with her spear, breaking the magic stone. After destroying the creature, the 4 level 6 joined the nearby adventurers to crush monsters in the area. They also quickly took control of the Twilight Manor to use as an operating control center and hospital. Afterwards, Tiona and Gareth stayed at the Twilight Manor. Hogni, Mia, and the hostesses led a group of adventurers to clear out the monsters near the Gensect pharmacy for use as another operating center. At the Babel, everyone looked on with a sad expression at the collapsed Babel. It was necessary and the seal appeared to be more than adequate. However, with all the memories that blew up with the Babel, it felt like a part of themselves died at the scene. With no time to reminisce, Finn started handing out tasks. Reveria and Beat would stay at the Babel area with the Xenos and a group of adventurers to set up operations at the guild building. They also worked to clear up remaining monsters near the center of town. Alan and Philvis were to go to the Folkvanga to suppress the monsters and establish an operating center at the Folkvanga. Finn and Bell would go join Otter nearby to deal with the remaining creature. Some distance from the Babel, after they were ready to kill the Kagaya creature, Ryu yelled, "Please wait." While they held it down, they looked at Ryu, who asked them to stop. Ryu took a few away to discuss. "Let's find out what she knows, and I would like to find out if she remembers anything amid. We need a god for the questioning," and calls Hermes. Asfi was then quickly dispatched to pick up Hermes for the interrogation. While they were waiting, Finn and Bell arrived. Finn quickly sent the Gulliver brothers and Hayden to Daedalus Street and the Colosseum to suppress the monsters and establish another operating center in the Daedalus Street area. When Asfi returned with Hermes, they gathered around the Kagaya creature that was still held down by Otter and Asturias. Finn, Ryu, go ahead first. Ryu, why are you helping the corrupted spirit? Kagaya creature, she is our god. Ryu, what does she want? Kagaya creature, revenge against the gods. Ryu, but Uranos is now gone. Why do you keep attacking? Kagaya creature, the gods betrayed nature. We are going to return the world to its natural state. Ryu, nature is in harmony now. Kagura creature, you are stupid. The world is completely unnatural, all because the gods upset the natural balance. Ryu, do you have any part of your humanity left? Kagaya creature, what a stupid question. Finn, yes or no? Kagaya creature, I am what I am. Ryu, don't you remember anything about your old friends? How can you do this to them? Kagura creature, she remade me and I have no memory or care of my past. Finn, but you have lost. Your effort is in vain. Kagura creature, no it is not. We accomplished our mission. Ryu, Orario will rebuild Kagura creature, not when she is done. Finn, but we have taken out all your colleagues and captured you. Kagura creature, she is powerful and will get more powerful, making Finn's thumb hurt. Bell, so you are not willing to reform. Kagaya creature, you need to be reformed. Finn, you have no means to do anything. Kagaya creature, we shall see. Change is coming. With the creature obstinate, they decided to talk separately again while Asturias and a large group of lower-level adventurers held her down. But this creature is a huge threat. They have no easy way to lock it down. But yet it may have valuable information that it is not sharing. After some thought, Finn asked Hephaestus members to start making a restraint for the creature and a steel holding cell with reinforced bars. Finn, I don't like it. She thinks they can bring change, but the only one missing is the corrupted spirit. Otter, we have no idea how strong the corrupted spirit is. Hermes, how are we going to hold her in a cell? Otter, until a holding cell is created, it will take at least 3 level 6 to hold her down constantly. Finn, and there is the issue with the dungeon. How can we reopen the dungeon without monsters flooding in? Hermes, without Urano's prayers, the monsters will continue to try to come outside. Bell, we have the Knossos entrances. Otter, as long as there are no creatures guiding the monsters, we can use the Knossos. Finn, we have little choice. Without the dungeon resources, our civilization will collapse. At the hidden location, Freya and Loki were really happy to hear the good news in Orario. AIS was particularly relieved to hear that Belle and her friends were safe. Tyon was itching to go back to Orario to help with the effort, as was Tsubaki. As they approached their dragons, a green floating entity with numerous tentacles suddenly appeared. At the Babel, the Hephaestus Familia was busy building a holding cell for the creature in the guild. At this time, Reveria, Asturias, and the Xenos guarded the entire Babel area and the guild building. At the same time, Aina and the other guild employees were busy trying to plan for the rebuilding effort once the monsters are exterminated on the surface. However, everyone was still shocked that Uranos is gone even as they covered the area where the column of light blasted through on the way to heaven. Nearby, the four Gulliver brothers were in charge of monitoring the Kagura creature and held it down, though Otter stayed nearby. From the guild, Finn was coordinating the monster extermination all over the city. The 10 team leaders for the adventurer teams were Tiona, Beat, Alan, Gareth, Hogney, Haydeen, Bell, Philvis, Shakti, and Mia. Finn's thumb still hurt like crazy. Finn, something is very wrong with the corrupted spirit being missing. Hermes, what could it be doing? Uranos is already gone. What else could it want? Finn, this is not making sense. They sent Uranos away, but we sealed the dungeon. So what is their end game? There must be an end game. Hermes, she said the corrupted spirit will get stronger. Finn, how will it get stronger? Hermes' spirits got their power originally from the gods. Finn, we know that at least most of the creatures were essentially level 7. That means some other god gave foulness to former members of the Astraea Familia. Hermes, but Thanatos, Isha, Iklos, and Peenia all went back to heaven, so who is the god? Finn, so who could it be? Giving Hermes a look. Hermes, as far as I know, there is no god deep in the dungeon. Finn, this makes no sense at all. At the same time, at the hidden location, as Loki, Freya, Ais, Ganesha, Dien Sect Hephaestus, Tyon, and Tsubaki approached their dragons, a green floating entity with numerous tentacles suddenly appeared. Loki jumped, oh crap, Ais. Tsubaki and Tyon immediately got between the gods and the entity. Entity Arya, come join me. Loki jumped again, oh crap, while Tyon immediately got in front of Ais to protect her sister, and Tsubaki did the same. Freya immediately called Finn. Finn, the corrupted spirit is here. It wants Ais. At the guild, the news of the corrupted spirit gave Finn and Hermes a heart attack. Finn immediately got Bell's location and instructed Asfi to bring Bell to the hidden location. Finn then called the Xenos and had Gross and Ray carry him and Harrowheim immediately to the hidden location. In the meantime, Hermes took command and notified everyone of the situation with the corrupted spirit. Hermes quickly warned the Gulliver brothers to be aware of potential risks involving corrupted spirit trying to free the creature, and also asked Otter to keep an eye on the situation. The last thing they needed would be for the creature to get freed. Reveria was really worried, but there was no easy way to get any more people there to help. All they could do was to continue to clean up Orario. In one area of Orario, Bell just received a call from Finn as his group was killing a large number of monsters. Finn, Bell, the corrupted spirit is after Ais. Must be after her great spirit powers. Bell, oh no, Finn, Asfi is coming to get you. Bell, all right, and gets a number of potions from other adventurers as Asfi came by to pick up Bell. Back at the hidden location, the tentacles of the entity started to gather and move in a creepy way around Tyon and Tsubaki. Ais used Ariel from behind to help them knock back the tentacles. At the same time, Tyon spun the Urga like a fan, chopping off a lot of the tentacles, while Tsubaki used double short swords to cut off the ones that got by Tyon. However, even as tentacles are cut, more keep coming. Entity the Great Spirit Wind, the Great Spirit Power, come join me Arya, and the tentacles spread out even faster. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Freya, Ais, you and Loki fly back to Orario. This entity wants you. There must be a reason and you need to leave now. We cannot risk you falling into its control, Ais, but Goddess Freya, you will be in danger. Freya smiled. You are the love of my favorite. I cannot allow you to be harmed. You need to go back to Orario. I will be fine. Freya, Loki, run now. We will be fine. Freya and Loki, Ais. That is an order following orders. Ais carried Loki away in Ariel, as the entity tried to follow. Tyon, no you don't. Not over my dead body. However, more and more tentacles moved at high speeds towards the Amazons. Soon the entity grabbed both Tyon and Tsubaki like a Portuguese man-o-war jellyfish catches its prey. The tentacles suddenly turned brilliant green, and the two Amazons screamed in unison as their bodies took on a greenish hue. At that point, Freya calmly smiled at the entity. In the skies above Orario, Asfi just picked up Bell, and they immediately headed for Bell's old village. As they sped along, they could see Gross and Ray carrying Finn and Harrowheim far ahead of them. Suddenly, Bell got a call from Loki. Loki, Bell, this is Loki. Ais and I are headed for Orario. Freya stayed there with Taion and Tsubaki, and they are fighting with the corrupted spirit. Bell Goddess Freya stayed behind. Loki, yes, she will probably use her powers to help. Bell was worried to death. What type of powers does the corrupted spirit have? Loki, the green spirit, has lots of tentacle that seem to be very deadly. It wants to combine with AIS somehow. That must be how it will get stronger. Bell, we are rushing there as fast as we can. Finn, Haraheim, Ray and Gross are ahead of Asfi and I by couple minutes. Loki, good. So both you and Finn should be level boosted. Bell, hurry back. And we will get there as quickly as we can. Asfi, we are a couple hours away. A mile ahead of Bell and Asfi. Finn's thumb was throbbing and he knew there was incredible danger ahead. Finn, Haraheim, when we get near the enemy, boost me and then fall behind and boost Bell. Then you head towards Ororio as fast as you can. Don't wait, as you are important to protecting the city if something went wrong. Haraheim understood, and then Finn communicated the same to Bell. At the Babel, Reveria was worried to death, but they had to control the city. So she did not interrupt the monster extermination process. She did let Otter and Filvis know, as they would be the strongest combatants if needed. The Hephaestus Familia was done building the restraints and a holding cell at the guild. Thus, while LYD and several Xenos watched over the Kagaya creature, Otter stayed inside the guild to provide support if needed. Free from creature watch duties, the Gulliver brothers helped to kill any monsters near the town center. Lephia stayed with Reveria while Asturias substituted for Bell in a monster extermination team. Aina and the other guild staff were really busy with rebuilding plans. Hermes was in command in coordination with Reveria. Hermes, now we know its next step. Get more power by merging with AIS Reveria. We have to stop that Hermes, but this is still not the endgame. Reveria, the creature, already said the goal is to turn the world back to the way it used to be. Hermes, this sounds like the goal of a dissatisfied god. Reveria, yes, but who is the god? Hermes, that is something we are missing. Back at the hidden location, after Tsubaki and Taion were captured by the corrupted spirit's tentacles, they screamed in agony while their bodies took on a greenish hue. Freya then calmly smiled at the entity, but the entity immediately turned its eyes away from Freya. It realized how deadly Freya's charm is. With the corrupted spirit looking away, it could not approach Freya, but at the same time, Freya could not charm the corrupted spirit. However, Taion and Tsubaki were suffering badly. Suddenly a voice called out, "Unknown female, don't waste time here. Go fetch the wind spirit." After the instructions, the corrupted spirit released the two Amazons and flew out towards Ororio. "Freya, are you going to come out?" "Demeter." "Unknown female, Demeter." "Freya, I can see your soul also." "Demeter, you don't seem surprised." "Freya, how clever. Play the framed innocent with Dionysus being the real villain. Either way, one of you would be cleared when the other took the blame. So both plant gods are trying to overthrow the system." Demeter revealed herself while Freya kept her cool. At that time, Taion and Tsubaki were seriously injured, still with some green hue on their bodies. "Hephaestus, what happened to them?" Demeter, the plant life was invading their bodies, but there was not nearly enough time for the conversion process to finish. Freya, so when they recover, they are going to come after you. Demeter, it will take them a long time to recover from the plant life attack. Freya, so Demeter, what are we going to do? Girl, fight. Use our powers. Demeter, I do not want to return to heaven. So we can have a girl fight if you really want to do that. Ganesha, you want to return the world back to the old world. Demeter, yes, back to nature. This is unnatural. Hephaestus, I am afraid that is not going to happen. The corrupted spirit cannot defeat all the adventurers. Demeter, after merging with the wind spirit, all the power of nature would combine to defeat all the adventurers. In the skies close to Bell's village, AIS and Loki were speeding towards Ororio. Loki, AIS, something is catching up really quickly. Hurry AIS, I am going as fast as I can. Loki, let me off. AIS, you would be defenseless. Loki, if it catches up, you cannot fight while carrying me. We have no choice. Let me off and go towards Ororio as fast as you can. Remember, we all love you and don't go to the dark side. Realizing that Loki was right, with tears in her eyes, AIS let Loki off on a mountain road. AIS then sped towards Ororio at a faster speed with less weight. Still, the corrupted spirit was faster. About 10 minutes later, it was time for a battle. On the way from Ororio towards Bell's village, Finn received a call from Loki. "Loki, AIS dropped me off on a country road. I am walking towards Ororio now." "Finn, be careful." Loki, there was no choice. I had too much dinner, and I was slowing AIS down. The corrupted spirit was catching up. "Finn, I do not see AIS yet. But we are not yet even halfway." "Loki, go as fast as you can." I saw the corrupted spirit flying by. I think it is still faster than AIS. "Finn, We will go as fast as we can. Be care on your stroll towards Orario. Loki, you take care of AIS. This spirit power merging thing is sounding really scary. Finn, we shall. After which Finn called Reveria to have an expedition launched to pick up Loki and the others. At the guild, Reveria received the call from Finn while in the middle of coordinating all the monster extermination teams. Finn AIS had to let Loki off so she can fly faster away from the corrupted spirit, making Reveria worry even more. Reveria, we can send Filvis, Beat, Lefia, and Alan. That is all I can spare. They will rush there on horseback, but it will take more than a day at that time. Hermes had the guild members gather a few fast horses while calling Filvis, Beat, Lefia, and Alan for the mission. Reveria, how long before you reach AIS? Finn? Well, we have been flying for about 40 minutes. Assuming AIS is flying about the same speed, we must fly another 20 minutes to reach her. Reveria, hurry Finn, please. Back at Bell's village, Freya and the other gods were squared off against Demeter as Tyon and Tsubaki were seriously injured, still having some green hue on their bodies. Suddenly, Hermes' voice blasted from the Oculus communication device. Demeter, you will be severely punished for this. Demeter, so you allowed Orario to hear our conversation, to which a smiling Freya nodded. Demeter, well, it does not matter anymore. And what makes the children more worthy than the plants and the animals and the monsters? Ganesha, we all know the children are destined to follow us after the age of the gods pass. Demeter, and why must the age of the gods pass? Hephaestus, let go Demeter. It is progress, as the next great age is the age of the children. Demeter, it is decay and decadence. I will not fade into obscurity. Freya, it does not matter. You will fail. Demeter, no. The merged spirits will succeed. Dien sect, so it was you who corrupted the spirits to start with deep in the dungeon. Demeter, yes, it was me. I started with the great earth spirit who was loyal to me. Demeter, then deep in the dungeon, one by one, I trapped the great fire spirit, the great light spirit, the great water spirit, and the great lightning spirit. Freya, so you descended in secret. Demeter, yes, I did. I was able to hide inside the earth. You were dumb enough to send the great spirits into the dungeon. I took advantage of that. If the annoying great wind spirit would not have fallen in love with that human, I would have succeeded long ago. Demeter laughed. Now her daughter will pay the price. At that time, 3 adventurers arrived at Bell's village. Demeter, now to deal with you and your friends. Demeter, do not look at Freya or she will charm you. Finish those 2 Amazons immediately. They are dangerous if we allow them to recover. The 3 adventurers started stabbing Tyon and Tsubaki, causing them to scream in pain. At that time, closer to Bell's village, the corrupted spirit was faster than AIS. As it got close, it was time for a battle. Instructed to buy as much time as possible, AIS launched a whirlwind towards the corrupted spirit. The whirlwind served 2 purposes, both to push back the corrupted spirit and to launch herself forward in recoil. Corrupted spirit Arya, you are only delaying the inevitable. You need to join us. AIS kept launching more wind attacks to keep pushing back the corrupted spirit. Corrupted spirit, we need you to join us as undamaged as possible, but you keep resisting too much. So you will be punished, launching a lightning strike and a fire strike at AIS. Ari's aerial armor protected AIS to a great degree, but she was still burned and electrocuted. It caused her to lose control of her wind and plummeted towards the ground. Not wanting to damage AIS any further, the attack stopped. But then AIS again regained her wind and started to fly away again. Corrupted spirit, we can keep doing this, but how many strikes can you endure? Ignoring her enemy, AIS suffered more attacks while her altitude kept dropping as she plummeted after each attack. After a few minutes, she was at treetop level. As AIS kept flying, numerous branches grabbed the flying princess and plucked her from the air. Corrupted spirit laughed. The fly is caught in the spider's web as AIS struggled to get free. But the more she struggled, the more branches joined in to wrap and squeeze her. At that point, the corrupted spirit extended its green tentacles around AIS while turning brilliant emerald green, causing her to scream in great agony. At the guild, Reveria and everyone were sweating over what will happen between AIS, the corrupted spirit, Freya, and Demeter. Reveria, how did it find them? Reveria thought to herself, perhaps it is a spirit finding another spirit thing. Hermes, curse her. That bitch fooled us all. I Hermes have been tricked. Reveria, Hermes Sama, that was a very clever plan, and we always want to see the good in others or to came to check on Freya. Any word on my goddess? Hermes, they are afraid of Freya's charm, so she is safe at the moment. However, Tyon and Tsubaki are down and in danger. Otter showed a sign of emotion that was completely unlike him, but he is completely unable to protect his goddess. Everyone was completely frustrated with their complete helplessness in the matter. Hermes calls Finn to get an update. On the way from Rio towards Bell's village, Finn received the call from Hermes. Hermes, do you see anything yet? Finn, we saw a green flash and a faint green glow now far over the horizon. We are moving as fast as we can. Bell was worried that the worst may have happened to AIS, but they simply could not go any faster. To prepare, Bell drank a couple potions to have as much magic available as possible. At the same time, Haraheim also drank a couple potions preparing to chant Kokonu. They then received a call from Loki. Loki, AIS dropped me off on a country road. I am walking towards Rio now. Worry about AIS and what happened at the village. I am having a good stroll. Finn, Loki, be careful. Don't get eaten by a wild animal. Loki, don't worry, I got good at climbing trees. LOL. Back at Bell's village, the gods watched as the three adventurers stabbed the injured Taion and Tsubaki. The screams of pain could be heard through the oculus by Reveria, Hermes, Loki, and Finn, making them really angry. As the adventurers attacked the struggling Taion and Tsubaki, the multiple stab wounds were getting really bad. However, the injuries also triggered a change. Taion suddenly went into berserker mode, as the damage passed a threshold as she was absolutely furious. The berserker mode Taion scrambled up and viciously attacked the three adventurers. The level 6 Taion was attacking at a higher strength due to her berserker skill, and landed hits on the adventurers that seemed like they were fighting around level 3 to 4. Watching this, Freya to Demeter with a smile, "You are in trouble now, Demeter. We shall see." Taion managed to cut off the arms of one adventurer, but regeneration started immediately. That repeated itself also with severe injuries to the other adventurers. Hephaestus rolled her eyes. Even more creatures. Demeter, I thought creatures are just a wonderful invention. I am quite proud of it. Diensek, disgusting is more like it. Demeter, does not matter. When the merged spirit wins, the surface world will be ruled by plants and monsters. Freya, we will not allow that to happen. You will not overthrow the system and ruin the children. At that point, the berserker Taion managed to destroy the magic stone of one of the adventurer creatures, with 2 remaining. That made Demeter visibly worried, as a berserk Taion is a frightening one to deal with. Hephaestus, you now look worried. Realizing that the plan is not working well, Demeter decided to run away. Freya did not chase, as she knew there would be plenty of time and opportunity to deal with Demeter. Seeing Demeter escaping, Hephaestus immediately took the opportunity to go pour potion on the severely injured Tsubaki. Though the wounds were healed, Tsubaki still could not stand up due to the lasting effects of the corrupted spirit tentacle attack. Tsubaki, thank you, goddess. Hephaestus smiled. How could I watch you suffer? Seeing Taion fight, Tsubaki was amazed. Tsubaki thought, I don't know how Taion is able to get up. Freya to Finn and Hermes, Demeter is running away. The berserk mode Taion has destroyed one of the adventurers that is actually now a creature. Thank Uranos that it is a creature with only about level 4 strength. Hermes, good to hear. So you have the situation under control. Freya, Demeter decided the situation is turning against her and ran off. We can find her later. Taion is fighting with 2 more creatures. Tsubaki is still disabled, but Hephaestus was able to treat her stab wounds. On the ground, AIS, wrapped by numerous branches, was being attacked by the corrupted spirit's green tentacles. The tentacles turned a brilliant emerald green, causing AIS great agony. Corrupted spirit Arya, give in, you will soon be a part of us. AIS never, launching a wind attack that pushed away the green tentacles. Corrupted spirit, you are just making me start from scratch, and you will suffer even longer now. Then the tentacles were launched again, turning a brilliant emerald green again. As AIS screamed, she managed to push the tentacles away again. After several tries, this was starting to annoy the corrupted spirit. Corrupted spirit, guess we will have to wear you down a bit first, launching a lightning attack at AIS. AIS tried to deflect the attack with aerial, but it was not very efficient while she was bound by numerous branches. As she screamed in pain, she tried one last aerial attack at the corrupted spirit, which succeeded in pushing the corrupted spirit back some distance and stopping the attack. However, that only bought AIS a few seconds of reprieve as the attacks soon started again. Having used most of her wind power, AIS could not launch another serious counterattack. The lightning was pure torture. As she suffered through the torture, the ominous black flames arose, and everything around AIS was getting darker and darker. Still in the air, Finn's thumb was throbbing like crazy. At the guild, as Reveria and Hermes continued to coordinate monster extermination teams around the city, the reports continued to be good. Sector after sector, things were clearing up. The citizens who evacuated were already starting to return to their homes in some areas. However, the biggest concern in their minds was about AIS, Freya, Loki, Bell, Demeter, and the corrupted spirit. While Filvis, Beat, Lefia, and Alan left ASAP on horseback, they were more than a day away. On the way from Orario towards Bell's village, Finn's thumb continued to throb like crazy, but they still could not see AIS or the corrupted spirit. They could see a green glow over the horizon, but they were not certain that was where they need to be. Eagerly watching, Haraheim was ready to chant Kokonu as soon as they could confirm some sighting. As they continued, Bell was really worried that the worst may have happened to AIS. However, they simply could not go any faster. Just like Bell, Finn was worried that something bad was happening to his adopted daughter. Back at Bell's village, the Berserk mode Tyon continued to fight with two adventurer creatures, while Tsubaki still was unable to lend any assistance. Tyon managed to land quite a few hits, but the creatures also rapidly recovered. After a few more minutes, Tyon managed to kill off another creature and could thus focus on the remaining one. Freya reported this progress to both Finn and Reveria, and everyone prayed that Tyon could finish the last one before the Berserker mode runs out. They did not dare hope Tyon could keep fighting if the Berserker mode ends, as Tyon may end up right back lying on the ground. In a wooded area closer to Bell's village, as AIS suffered through more torture by the corrupted spirit's lightning attack, the ominous black flames got stronger and stronger. Everything around AIS was getting darker and darker. Even the corrupted spirit was wondering why the space around AIS took on a darker and darker aura. Corrupted spirit Arya, you caused your own suffering. Now stop fighting back and join us. AIS in a scary voice, No. Corrupted spirit Arya, give in. Resistance is futile. You will join us and you will like it, then wraps its tentacles around AIS. AIS in a scary voice, never. When the tentacle became brilliant emerald green, AIS screamed in agony again. This time, AIS was too worn down to fight back, and the corrupted spirit was able to continue with its conversion process. As the process continued, the tentacles got more and more brilliant green while AIS continued to scream in pain. At the same time, the aura got darker and darker as the black flames burned uncontrolled. For a few minutes, the corrupted spirit's conversion process continued unabated. Suddenly, an explosion took place. On the way from Orario towards Bell's village, Finn, Gross, Haraheim, Ray, Bell and Asfi were getting closer to the village as well as a wooded area where the green glow was coming from. As they got even closer, the green glow suddenly got brighter and brighter. Finn Haraheim, we are getting close, start chanting after Kokonu was activated. Haraheim then chanted Yukai no Kozuchi to boost Finn and then Bell. At the same time, Bell started charging Argonaut. Suddenly, they saw a huge explosion in the wooded area. Afterwards, the green glow was gone but replaced with a dark aura. Finn, I hope that is not what I think it is. We need to go in. Bell. Haraheim and Ray, you need to stay back. If anything happens, fly back as fast as possible to Orario. In a wooded area closer to Bell's village, the explosion freed AIS from the branches and the tentacles. However, AIS was now visibly surrounded by a black flame. Corrupted spirit, you did not join, but you are now different. AIS then launched a black fire aerial attack at the corrupted spirit, which countered with a combined attack of fire, wood, lightning, light, and ice. When the two attacks collided with each other, there was yet another explosion. The explosion blown AIS clearly out of the forest. From that point, AIS proceeded to fly away from the area at high speed. Corrupted spirit, you are not escaping, and started chasing after AIS. Arriving at the wooded area, Finn, Gross, Bell and Asfi watched AIS exploded out of the wooded area. Seeing black flames surrounding Ai's body, they realized that the black flames may have completely taken over. They started to chase after AIS, but then they saw the entity with green tentacles chasing after AIS. At which point, Finn quickly updated Reveria and asked Haraheim and Ray to follow AIS from a safe distance while they took on the enemy. With more than 3 minutes of charging, the furious Bell immediately launched an Argonaut firebolt at the corrupted spirit. Seeing Bell's huge attack, the corrupted spirit launched its combined fire, wood, lightning, light, and ice attack. As the two attacks collided, there was an even larger explosion. Back at Bell's village, the Berserker mode Tyon continued to fight with the remaining creature. With a substantial difference in strength levels, the magic stone was soon destroyed. After the victory, Tyon's feelings calmed down, and soon collapsed with Berserk switching off. Seeing this, Hephaestus immediately poured potion to heal Tyon's severe stab wounds. With the stab wounds to both Tyon and Tsubaki healed, the two Amazons were still suffering from the aftereffects of the tentacle's attack by the corrupted spirit. Both were unable to fight or even get up. Freya updated Reveria and Hummies on what happened. Freya Tyon has defeated the last creature, but she has collapsed again with her skill turning off. Both Tyon and Tsubaki are unable to fight at the moment. Thankfully the dragons were not scared off, so I am going to head to where Bell and Finn are. I will send everyone else back to Ororio for treatment and protection. Hermes, perhaps you should pick up Loki. Haraheim and Ray are following AIS to monitor the situation. Freya also updated Loki. The creatures have been defeated. We are coming to pick you up. Then we will check on Bell and Finn before going to find AIS. Haraheim and Ray are trying to follow AIS so we know where she went to. Loki, alright, good. Make sure they don't lose AIS. Hurry, I don't want to be eaten up by the wild animals. At that point, Freya, Dien Sect, Hephaestus and Ganesha carried Tyon and Tsubaki to the flying dragons and started their trip. In the sky above the wooded area, Bell's Argonaut firebolt met the combined elements attack from the corrupted spirit. After a huge explosion, it appeared that the firebolt won, and the corrupted spirit was blown right back into the woods. It also suffered some serious damage and lost a lot of tentacles. Bell, Gross, Finn and Asfi immediately headed towards the damaged spirit, while Bell launched a series of firebolts Asfi through several firebombs. However, the spirit was not finished, and it started to regenerate. Some distance north of the wooded area, Haraheim and Ray followed Dark AIS, who flew at high speed away from the corrupted spirit. After some time, with no one attacking her, AIS landed and collapsed from great pain in her current state. Haraheim reported to Reveria and Hermes, AIS has landed, but she continues to have a black flame surrounding her body. She seems to be suffering a lot, but we are going to keep our distance. If she moves away from here, we will let you know. We have flown about 10 miles north of where the battle took place, which was about halfway between Ororio and Bell's village. Reveria Finn last reported in as they started battling with the corrupted spirit. He has not reported since. That got Haraheim very worried, but there was nothing anyone can do except hope that AIS will recover from this strange state. In the wooded area, with the corrupted spirit starting to regenerate, Bell and Asfi launched more firebolts and firebomb strikes, trying to incinerate the spirit. At the same time, Gross flew close into attack while Finn attacked with his spear. Furious at the thought of what happened to his adopted daughter, Finn activated Hell Fine Gas to gain tremendous strength. Asfi also took out her dagger and joined Finn and Gross in attacking together. Bell held off and charged Argonaut. While charging, he monitored his friends so he could immediately jump in and assist if needed. But he wanted as long a charge as he could get, as the Grand Bell told. At the guild, Reveria and Hermes continued to coordinate all the activities, but the news about AIS had devastated Reveria. Nevertheless, the situation around Ororio continued to improve. There were only 5 areas of the city that continued to have a lot of monster sightings. Despite some injuries and transfer of personnel to assist with the corrupted spirit, the extermination teams continued to do a good job in destroying monsters. With the containment of the monster threat, most of the citizens were on the way back into the city. Some have already returned home. Reveria called Loki to give her the bad news about AIS and also a status update on Ororio. Lefia wanted to go to AIS, but they lacked the means to travel there quickly. After some time, they received another call from Freya as they were underway. Unfortunately, Tyon and Tsubaki were still in bad shape. Their plan was for Dien Sect, Hephaestus, and Ganesha to bring the 2 suffering Amazons straight back to Ororio. Hopefully Amid would be able to help them. In the wooded area, with the added strength from Hell Fine Gas, Finn took the lead role in battling the corrupted spirit. Fortunately, the damage from the attacks from Finn, Asfi, and Gross made it difficult for the corrupted spirit to launch magic attacks. However, despite their attacks, the corrupted spirit was recovering faster than they could inflict damage. After a couple minutes, the spirit was able to launch a lightning attack that knocked out Asfi and Gross. Despite the lightning attack, Finn was still struggling and fighting. With Hell Fine Gas added to the anger from AIS being turned into something scary, Finn forced himself through the lightning attack and stabbed his spear deeply into the corrupted spirit without regard to his own pain and damage. The stab then caused an explosion which blew Finn 50 feet away. At that point, Bell jumped in with almost 3 minutes of Argonaut charge. He combined Firebolt and his Argonaut charge onto his blades. Just like Finn, Bell stopped caring about his body and jumped right through the crazy amounts of magic that was now wildly spilling out of the damaged spirit. Ignoring the effects from the out-of-control magic, Bell slashed deeply into the corrupted spirit. When the flaming blades cut into the corrupted spirit, another explosion ignited and it blew Bell a long distance away. While in one piece, Bell appeared to be unconscious. In the sky about halfway from Bell's village to Rio, the deities, Taion and Tsubaki were riding the flying dragons towards the battlefield. Freya was flying by herself while Dien's sect was with Taion, Hephaestus was with Tsubaki and Ganesha flew by himself. With Freya's soul-searching ability, she located Loki on the ground being chased by a wild boar. Freya waved to the others, "Go ahead. I am going to pick up Loki now," and started heading down towards Loki. As Freya and her dragon landed, Loki was so pleased to see Freya, particularly with the dragon scaring away the wild boar. "Loki, never thought I would be so glad to see you, lol. Freya, which direction did AIS go?" With Loki pointing the direction, they quickly took off to look for the battlefield. Freya and Loki then called Reveria and Hermes to let them know that Loki has been rescued. At the guild, Reveria received the call from Freya and Loki. "Loki mama, Freya found me. Reveria, that is good. We still have not heard a peep from Finn. We are very worried, Freya. Yes, it has been more than 30 minutes since the battle started. We are searching for them now. I do not yet detect their souls." Above a nearby wooded area, Freya and Loki flew in the direction that AIS originally traveled. After some time, Freya detected the souls of Finn, Asfi, Bell and Gross, as well as what could be multiple souls belonging to the corrupted spirit. "Freya, they are alive, but something is strange. More souls than I expected." As they got closer, they saw Asfi and Gross, who were up and about. They also saw Bell and Finn, both of which seemed to be lying on the ground near Asfi and probably unconscious. "Freya, at least they look alive." "Loki, what happened to the corrupted spirit? Why did they not answer any calls?" As they were landing, "Freya, I see their souls, but the green entity seems to be missing. Those souls seem to be in a different state." Besides Bell, Gross, Finn and Asfi, Freya and Loki saw several humanoid beings surrounding another humanoid lying on the ground. "Loki, who are those?" "Freya, those are all spirits and great spirits at that." Loki agreed. "Yes, they are." Asfi approached them. "Yes, Bell's final attack seemed to have freed the other great spirits from the Great Earth Spirit." "Freya, we were told the Great Earth Spirit was the one who sided with Demeter." Asfi, "Yes, after splitting up, they are in the process of locking up the Great Earth Spirit." Loki, "Great. If that is under control, how are Bell and Finn?" As the three walked towards the two heroes who appeared to be unconscious lying on the ground. Asfi, "Bell appears to have suffered a mind zero after launching 2 Argonaut attacks, the second of which the Grand Bell told. Finn was severely injured, but we have stopped all the bleeding and treated with potions. Bell also had a lot of injuries which were also treated with potions." Freya bent down and looked at Bell. To make the unconscious child more comfortable, she gave him a lap pillow. Freya whispered in Bell's ears, "You did well, hero. Wake up soon so we can go save your girlfriend." Seeing Freya taking care of Bell, Loki went to check on Finn. Loki smiled. "Finn, my lap is too bony, so a lap pillow will not be very comfortable. But you did great. Let's wake up soon so we can go save AIS." When Loki looked at Asfi with an evil grin on her face, Asfi realized that her lap was in danger and ran for her life. Loki laughed. "Don't worry, Andromeda. I would not make such a request. But why did you not take our calls?" "Asfi, we also tried to call, but it seemed that our oculus were disabled by the lightning attacks and the explosions." Freya and Loki then called Haraheim to check on AIS. About 10 miles north of the wooded area, Haraheim received the call from Freya and Loki. "Freya, Haraheim, we found Bell and everyone. They have defeated the corrupted spirit. How is AIS?" "Haraheim, she is still on the ground. She has not moved around that much and seems to be dealing with the pain and suffering." "Freya, when Bell and Finn wake up, we will head to where you are." "Haraheim, we are about 10 miles north of you, at the wooded area." After calling Haraheim, Freya and Loki called Reveria and Hermes. "Loki, Reveria, the corrupted spirit has been defeated. Finn and Bell are unconscious but should be all right. As soon as they wake up, we will go to where AIS is." "Reveria, thanks Loki. Go take care of the little Paulum and Bell." "Loki, we will call when they wake up." After about 30 minutes of lap pillowing and hair petting, Freya decided to try updating Bell's status. Rolling the young hero over, the armor was removed and a drop of blood activated the fauna. Freya smiled when she saw that Bell leveled. Level 6 strength, 1,586 to 0 endurance, 1,713 to 0 agility, 1704 to 0 dexterity, 1429 to 0 magic, 1750 to 0 skill, Argonaut, Ox Slayer, Love, Charm Magic, Firebolt, Link Development Ability, Luck, Abnormal Resistance, Escape, Magic Resistance, Extreme Magic Resistance. The extra mind from the status update also seemed to help, as Bell started to stir. When he opened his eyes, he was still very tired and immediately was given a couple potions. Worried Bell, what happened to the corrupted spirit? Freya hushed him. You delivered the final blow and defeated it. Close your eyes and rest some more. I will wake you when Finn wakes up, closing Bell's eyes. Loki also decided to give Finn an update, and was extremely pleased when Finn made level 7. After another 30 minutes, both Finn and Bell were finally up and using more potions. Bell, where is AIS? What happened? Freya, she is about 10 miles from here. Asfi will tell you what happened. Asfi Bravest spear penetrated the green corrupted spirit deeply, causing magic to wildly spill out in a completely uncontrolled fashion. Then Bell's Argonaut slashes were the finishing blows. The corrupted Great Earth spirit lost its hold on the other great spirits, and the green entity split back into the individual great spirits. No longer under control, the Great Fire Spirit, the Great Lightning Spirit, the Great Light Spirit and the Great Water Spirit are now sealing the powers of the Great Earth Spirit. Freya, Bell, we can go to AIS now. Most relevant to helping AIS, you have leveled up. You now have your own charm skill and a new magic called Link that helps you connect your thoughts with others. It is new magic that no one is familiar with, but it seems physical contact will improve its results. Your magic resistance and love skill have both been very much upgraded. It seems a lot of these new abilities are caused by your strong feelings for helping AIS. These may come in handy with AIS real soon. Asfi smiled. The magic resistance is probably due to the way you're charged through the insane amount of magic spewing from the corrupted spirit. Loki, Finn, congrats also, as you are now level 7, putting a smile on Finn. At that time, the great spirits interrupted. We have sealed the Great Earth Spirit with our magic, and it is unable to cause further trouble. We will now fade from existence. You should keep the Great Earth Spirit in a guarded location far from the dungeon, where it could get stronger. Freya, you are going to fade from existence and never returned. The Great Fire Spirit, yes, we are. We were sent here to save the children. We ultimately failed. Now that the children are strong enough to defeat us, there is no need for us to stay. Loki, I see. Then may you rest in the peace and harmony that the new age will bring now that the children have grown up. The Great Water Spirit. Yes, that is apparent. The Great Fire Spirit looked at Bell and Finn. You freed us. I have a gift for you. As two sparks of fire headed towards Bell and Finn and merged with them. The Great Fire Spirit, this gives you limited protection from magic fires. Bell bowed. Thank you. Finn also bowed. Thank you. May I ask if this will help protect us from the dragon's fire? The Great Fire Spirit, a perceptive one. Yes, it will help, but not provide complete immunity. This will only work 3 times, but you can control its activation with that. The 4 great spirits faded from their sight. The group then started the short flight to help AIS on the flying dragons. At the guild, Dien Sect, Ganesha and Hephaestus arrived at Ororio carrying the injured Tyon and Tsubaki. With advanced warning, Amid was there to meet them. Reveria and Hermes were also outside to welcome them back to the city. After a short examination, Amid applied some potions and some magic. At that point, Tyon and Tsubaki were carried to the hospital. Amid to the deities, I think they will be all right. The conversion process was thankfully stopped, but it caused a big shock to their system. It is not something that can easily be healed using potions. It will take a lot of rest and some rehabilitation. Reveria, thank Loki, they will be all right. Thank you, Amid. Hephaestus, thank you, Amid. If there is anything that can help which can be purchased or gathered, please let me know, Amid. I will do that. But let's first see how they react to the treatment. After the short talk with Amid, the deities and Reveria went inside. Before they met, they sent 3 junior adventurers to bring the flying dragons to Filvis, Beat, Lefia, and Alan. With the defeat of the corrupted spirit, only Beat and Lefia would be going to help out with AIS. Alan and Filvis would be returning to Ororio. About 10 miles north of the battlefield, Bell, Asfi, Freya, Finn, Loki and Gross headed towards Ai's location. They started planning what they will do with AIS. Loki, we need to see the black flames that surrounds her body. Finn, the fire resistance gift from the Great Fire Spirit may become very helpful. Bell and I should probably be the ones approaching AIS. Freya, in addition to standard magic resistance, Bell has an additional extreme magic resistance development capability that is extremely rare. In fact, I have never seen it before. So Bell should probably be the one that makes first contact. Loki probably correct. But we have to see those black flames first when we arrive. Freya, Bell, do not just run to AIS. We need to stay calm and think very carefully to protect both AIS and ourselves. Freya, Bell, also remember that we don't know Ari's state of mind right now. That new link magic may be helpful here. Bell, I tried to activate it a few times, but I have not tried it with someone. Freya, you should do that after we land. It may help you reach into Ari's consciousness. Finn, Bell, you can experiment on me. Bell, thank you. Finn, Loki, but let's do it after we land. We cannot afford any accidents in the air. Freya, needless to say, you also have charm now, so you should practice it a few times before using it on AIS. I already mentioned that your love skill has gotten more powerful. These should all help you get through to AIS. Bell, Goddess, I understand. Finn and Loki, you can also test those on us. Bell, alright, thank you again. Finn, no need to thank us. AIS is our adopted daughter. Bell, understood. After about 20 minutes, Bell, Asfi, Freya, Finn, Loki and Gross reached the area close to where Dark AIS was. Before landing, Finn updated Reveria about their location and plans. Harrowheim immediately went to greet them. Loki, any change? Said Harrowheim, no, she has not moved much, and still obviously in agony. Pointing to the Great Earth Spirit, Harrowheim, who is the prisoner? Freya, that is the Great Earth Spirit who was corrupted by Demeter and Dionysius. His powers have been sealed, but we need to keep a careful watch. The group then got closer to get a better look at AIS and the Black Flames. Finn, Bell, let's practice your magic and skill. You can use me as a subject first. Harrowheim, Bell, Sama. I will also volunteer a few more subjects, as Asfi kept her distance. Bell used his link magic on Finn, and he saw images from Finn's thoughts about Fiona, Palams, Loki, Gareth, Reveria, AIS, monsters, getting and then Tyon. Deciding to stop, Bell tried the same with Harrowheim, at which point he saw images of Harrowheim's family, Mikoto, Aisha, Ishtar, Hestia, and then many images of Bell. Deciding that the magic testing was going too far, Bell started to test the charm skill. First with Finn, it had an instant impact as he could see love in Finn's eyes, which made Bell immediately shut down the skill. He then tried Harrowheim, and he immediately stopped when her tail wagging going out of control. When it came to Loki's turn, seeing how apparently successful Bell was, she decided that they should start discussing strategy. Loki, Freya, do you see any similarity between that flame and the black dragon? Freya, I have never seen the black dragon, but there are similarities from what I understand. Freya, Ari's soul has a different color. Instead of the gold color, it is darkening to a dull dark color. And there is a disturbing trend towards more darkness. Loki, this sounds bad. Finn looked at AIS. She seems to be suffering and not directly attacking anything. Loki, I think you should be prepared for an attack like the one you mentioned from before, that black wind aerial she used in the Knossos. Bell, yes, but I think we just need to approach her now. Is there any other planning to be done? Freya, I would suggest that Bell approach her, but Finn follow a few steps behind Finn. Harrowheim, please boost Bell and I, after which Harrowheim chanted Kohono, and then Yukai no Kazuchi to boost Finn and Bell. After the boosting, Bell started walking carefully towards AIS while Finn followed about 10 steps behind. AIS was still crouched over in agony, so Bell kept approaching. When Bell got within 20 steps of AIS finally realized that they were there. Dark AIS looked to Bell in anguish. Bell, you and Finn must leave. I am dangerous. Bell, AIS, I love you. I will never leave you when you need help, and walked closer towards AIS. Dark AIS, Bell, I am changing into something horrible. Bell, AIS, I love you. I cannot leave. I will save you. Dark AIS, these black flames now link me to that monster. It is the embodiment of hate. It killed my father and captured my mother. If I lose control, it will claim me also. But I cannot stop it. Please kill me so I do not become a part of that monster. Bell, we will find a way to help you. We will train and get stronger. We will defeat the monster and save your mother. Dark AIS, I now understand more about this power. I cannot stop it. I am starting to lose control of myself. Bell, no. AIS, Loki was completely devastated as she has never seen AIS defeated in such a way, but Freya kept her mouth shut. They could only watch and hope that Bell can get through to AIS. Dark AIS, Bell, you must be the hero. You must use your blades and end me. Dark AIS with tears streaming down. You must end me. I am sorry, but you must do it. That is the only way for me. Bell, I will be your hero. No matter how difficult it is, dark AIS in tears. Then come to me and do what you must do, Bell in tears. I am coming now, AIS. Remember, I love you no matter what happens. As Bell walked towards AIS, his blades aimed towards her heart. But before they stab into AIS, he dropped the blades and instead hugged her tightly. The black flames suddenly raged and engulfed both of them, with a mushroom cloud exploding thousands of feet into the sky. At the guild, Reveria and Hermes were talking to Freya and Loki as Bell approached AIS. Suddenly, they heard a huge explosion and all was silent. Reveria, Lady Freya, what happened? Loki. But still no response. Aina, Lady Reveria, what happened? Hermes, we do not know. It suddenly all went silent as Bell walked up to AIS. Aina in tears. Bell, everyone, please be alright. Junior adventurers came inside to report that they see a huge column of smoke. With that news, Reveria and everyone else went outside to see with their own eyes. Indeed, a huge column of smoke was roughly in the direction they believed the group to be at. Worried Reveria, Loki, Freya, please answer. Then Reveria called Beat and Lefia on the flying dragon. In the sky heading towards the mushroom cloud, Reveria, Beat, Lefia, do you see a huge column of smoke? Lefia, Reveria, yes, we see it. It is exactly we are heading to. What happened? Is AIS okay? Reveria, I was talking to Loki and Freya when this happened. I cannot get through to them anymore. Lefia crying, please be alright. Beat shit. Reveria, well, we still have our powers, so Loki is still with us. Hermes Otter just checked in and he is fine. So Freya is also still with us. Reveria's observations made Lefia and Beat feel better, but they could not get the dragon to fly any faster. At the base of the mushroom cloud, after Bell hugged AIS tightly, the black flames suddenly raged and engulfed both of them. Then a mushroom cloud shot thousands of feet into the sky. The raging fire even knocked Finn back 20 feet. Fortunately, Freya and Loki took shelter behind some trees that really shielded them from the huge winds. After everyone gathered themselves, they saw a huge black flame where Bell and AIS were. They also noticed white particles were flocking towards the flames, giving them hope that was Bell's Argonaut powers. With these white particles disappearing into the black flame, so no one was sure what was going on. Loki, oh no, how could anyone survive this huge black flame? AIS said the black flames are related to the dragon and she could not fight its powers. I wonder how all these are related. Freya, I still have my connection with Bell, so he is still alive in there somewhere. Loki, and I still have my connection with AIS. Hang on, AIS. Freya, that huge wind blew away my Oculus. Could someone try to find it? Harrowheim, my device also got damaged as she tried to find Freya's device that got blown away. At that point, Finn got up and walked to the two goddesses while pouring a healing potion on himself, quite a fire. But those white particles may well be Bell gathering Argonaut powers. But my thumb is still aching badly and my Oculus was damaged by the explosion. Finn, Freya, so you still have your connection with Bell. I don't know how Bell is surviving that intensity in the center of those black flames. When the fire blazed, I used up one of my fire resistance gifts and I am still burned. If not, I would have been very badly burned. Freya, in addition to standard magic resistance, Bell has an additional extreme magic resistance development. Surprised, Freya announced, and the color of their souls seemed to be merging. Loki, what? What are they doing in there? Naughty rabbit being naughty. Freya rolled her eyes, probably Bell's link magic at work. Ari's soul color was gold with black streaks from the black flames that was getting darker and darker. Bell was clear and bright. Freya, now it is swirls of gold, black, white and clear mixing together. Finn warned, since Bell may be gathering Argonaut powers, we better back off from here, as everyone moved to about 500 feet away from the black flames. About 5 minutes later, there was an explosion within the black flame. But the black flame remained and appeared unaffected by the explosion. Finn, that may have been Bell fighting the black flames. Depressed Loki, that may not be enough. All of the sudden, the grand bell started tolling and white particles were again gathering around even quicker and penetrating the black flames. Emotional Freya, little one, fight hard. Finn showing rare emotions. Wow, Bell is fighting hard. Fight hard, Bell. Be the hero. Loki cheered on. Come on, Bell. Save my girl. Please. Please. Please, Freya, just like the souls. The white is mixing in with the black, trying to counter its bad effects. Fight hard. I know you can do it. While looking for the Oculus, Harrowheim, come on, Bell. You can do it, while her tail was wagging wildly. Gross, come on, Bell. Fight, 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 Sv, come on, Bell. Do it. Do it, Ray, come on, Bell. Come on, AIS. Everyone continued to cheer heartily for Bell and AIS. With the grand bell tolling, Finn had everyone move more than 1,000 feet away from the black flames. In addition, the goddesses took shelter behind a large rock. After 5 minutes, there was a great deal of white light that was mixed in with the black flames. And then a huge explosion happened. Fortunately, they were far away, and the explosion did not do much damage. Behind the large rock, Freya and Loki were unharmed. It took a few minutes for the smoke and dust to clear. When visibility returned, the black flames were gone, apparently dispersed. In its place was a deep crater, and in the middle of the deep crater were 2 bodies lying motionless on the ground. Bell and AIS were in a tight embrace, though apparently unconscious. With Bell appearing to be charred badly, Finn immediately ran and jumped towards the 2 of them with potions in hand. Freya, little one. Loki, AIS. At the guild, Reveria and Hermes received a call from Lefia. Lefia, there was another huge explosion all of the sudden, and the flames and mushroom cloud disappeared. Reveria, what is left? Lefia, we are still far from there, but we just see clear sky now. Reveria, let's hope that is a good omen. Lefia, pray to Loki that is so. Beat butting in, of course they are fine. We still have our powers, don't we? So Loki is fine. That means Bunny Brat and AIS are fine. Don't freak out, Hermes yelled. Yes, the hero will be fine. Reveria, someone check on Otter, as a junior adventurer ran looking to the king. Aina, what happened? Reveria, the big mushroom cloud disappeared after another explosion, causing Aina to run outside to check. In the sky heading towards where the mushroom cloud was located, after talking to Reveria, Lefia and Beat continued to fly towards their destination. Lefia, you were so sure that they are fine. Beat, I am not sure. Damn it, Lefia, then why did you sound so confident? Beat, I am not confident. I am worried like crazy, but we have to keep up appearance. Damn it, Lefia thought, why even Beat is so torn up inside. Lefia, AIS, please be alright. Beat, the only thing we know is that Loki is still in one piece. At the base of the mushroom cloud, after the smoke and dust cleared, the black flames were gone. When everyone saw the 2 bodies lying motionless in the middle of the crater, their hearts skipped a beat. Finn was first to act and immediately ran towards the 2 unconscious bodies. A few moments later, Finn reached Bell and AIS. They were in a tight embrace, and both appeared unconscious. Bell was badly burned all over his bodies while AIS did not seem badly damaged. Without waiting, 2 healing potions were poured Bell. Everyone else watched Finn, while the 2 goddesses carefully checked their connections with their 2 children. Loki, AIS is still connected to me. Thank me, Freya, Bell is still connected, but the connection is weaker than normal. At that point, Finn poured an additional potion on Bell and a second one on AIS just in case. After Bell's burn wounds were healed, Asfi came over to help Finn move Bell and Asfi. Asfi was shocked. Naked bunny. Finn laughed. That is not a surprise for him to be in that flame for so long, as he covered up the naked bunny with some of his clothing. Finn and Asfi then carried the 2 back to the rest of the group. Everyone could easily tell that both are still alive. In Bell's case, they don't know what else may be wrong. In Ari's case, they don't know if Dark AIS will immediately return when she wakes up. Freya, Heraheim, did you manage to find our Oculus? Heraheim, not yet. I will keep looking with Gross and Ray helping Heraheim search. Finn, it is incredible that Bell survived that flame. He must have used all the fire resistance gifts in additional to his extreme magic resistance development ability. Freya, well, his burn wounds are healed, though we still can see how red his skin is. Freya then checked on their soul. Surprised Freya, Bell's soul has been contaminated with some of the black flames. Loki, oh no. Sad Freya, yes, it is mostly clear and transparent, but now with a lot of gold and black strands. Loki, how about AIS? Freya looked carefully and then realized that the 2 children had a sort of exchange of soul matter. Freya, well, Ari's soul is mostly gold but with black strands and a lot of clear bright strands. Her soul is definitely much less dark than before. It seems Bell took on a lot of Ari's black flames. I hope he can handle it. Worried Loki, it would be frightening if Bell and AIS both went dark, making everyone's hearts skipped a few more beats. After thinking it over for some time, Freya decided to update Bell's stats, and discovered that his magic stat and endurance stat shot up an enormous amount. Level 6 strength, 0 to 0 endurance, 0 to 335 agility, 0 to 0 dexterity, 0 to 0 magic, 0 to 294 skill, Argonaut, Ox Slayer, Love, Charm Magic, Firebolt, Link Development Ability, Luck, Abnormal Resistance, Escape, Magic Resistance, Extreme Magic Resistance. Freya. Bell's magic stat and endurance stat both shot up by about 300 points. That is extraordinary even for him. Loki, Well, he had to endure that inferno flame for many minutes and probably used 2 Argonauts back to back with the second one of the grand bell-ringing variety. So that makes sense for whatever that is worth. Loki thought about updating AIS, but decided that she did not want to mess with AIS in this strange state. Everyone waited around while Haroheim, Gross and Ray searched for their Oculus devices, but they still could not find those devices. After some time, Beat and Lefia arrived, and they decided to move the unconscious Bell and AIS back to Orario. With the decision made, they headed back to Orario on their flying dragons. At the guild, as Reveria, Hummies and Aina anxiously waited for some answers about what happened to Bell, AIS and the entire group, they received a call. Lefia, Bell and AIS are both alive. Reveria, thanks Loki. Beat, see, I told you. Lefia, you were sweating it out just like us. Now you are talking big. Reveria laughed. Emo wolf. So everything is fine. Lefia, not exactly. There has been some type of mind merging with Bell and AIS. We do not know what the two of them would be like when they wake up, but we are bringing them back to Orario. Aina, why did we lose contact? Lefia, the attacks destroyed their Oculus devices. Reveria, is there any risk at this point to them or to the city? Lefia, we do not know. Finn said to make sure Otter, Filvis and several other strong adventurers will be there to receive us, just in case. Beat, Finn is just being a worrywart. Reveria, what do you mean mind merging? Lefia, Lady Freya said there has been mixing of their souls when she looked at the colors of their soul. Hermes, wow. Aina, OMG. Worried. Reveria, getting married is good, but this is ridiculous. Aina, is Finn sure he wants to bring them to the city with such big unknowns? Lefia, Finn wants a mid to be there. He wants more powerful adventurers to be available when they wake up, just in case. Reveria, do we have any idea when they will wake? Lefia, no. It is going to be an unpleasant wait, with everyone understanding the stress they are in for. In the sky, flying heading towards Orario. After talking to Reveria, Hummies and Aina, everyone continued to fly towards their Orario. Lefia, Finn, Aina wanted to know if we are sure we want to bring them back to Orario in the current state. What risky is this? Finn, as long as there are enough strong adventurers, we should be fine. Of course there is some finite risk. Freya, Haroheim can boost people if needed. But we are taking a chance. Loki, yes we are, but we are taking a chance if we do not have enough help. If something did not go right. Finn, well, we could meet them some distance from Orario and wait until they wake up. Freya, yes, but like we discussed, being in Orario may help settle Ai's troubled mind. Loki, yes, there is no perfect solution. Finn, I guess we go with the original plan. Freya agreed. Posturing. Beat, Bunny Boy will be fine. So will AIS. Lefia, look at who is talking big again. Beat, little elf, when have you gotten so punky? Maybe I will throw you off. Scaring Lefia. Loki, settle down. Beat, calming down the wolf. Freya, well, I am still connected to Bell and the level of connection is good again. Loki, same with me and AIS. Let's hope that is a good sign. Loki, if things go really bad, I guess we can remove our foulness. Freya, yes, but they would have to be subdued first. Finn, has anyone ever had their foulness removed before? Loki, not recently. But I heard that it has happened before, though it was before I descended. Freya, I have heard the same. Freya, the color of their souls are still the same. The level of mixing is about the same. An hour later, the group arrived in Orario. Waiting for them were Otter, Filvis, Gareth, Reveria, Hummies, Hephaestus, Amid, Dien Sect, Ganesha and Alan. When they landed, everyone could still see that both Bell and AIS were unconscious. After landing, Amid spent some time check Bell and AIS. Other than some healing, there was apparently nothing she could do. Amid, their bodies are fine. I cannot heal their mind. Freya, well, in that case, there is no point to keep them at the hospital. We need to make a decision about where we keep them. Loki probably should be in my place or your place. Freya, yes, they need good memories. From looking at their souls, I would guess Bell is in better condition than AIS. Loki, in that case, we should keep the two of them in my place. AIS has lots of good memories there. Freya, I can stay there also. Finn, I think the two of you should stay in different places, just in case. At least until they wake up. Okay. Freya, that is a good precaution. All right, I will stay at the Folkvanga. Loki, we will have a level 6 and a level 4 watch them at all times. Freya, do you need help? Loki, we have enough personnel for everyone to rotate. Freya, do you want Otter to stay there? Loki, I think that is a good idea. Otter and Filvis together would be able to help keep things under control. Even if both Bell and AIS become out of control, having made their decisions, everyone headed to the Twilight Manor together. There were no incidents along the way. After Bell and AIS were settled in a room together, Freya gave Bell an update just in case there is a surprise. When there was no change, Freya's group headed back to the Folkvanga. At Ari's room, Loki, we put their beds next to each other, so hopefully that would give them pleasant thoughts when they wake up. Tiona, I will take the first watch. Anakitty, I will watch with you. Lefia, all right, I will come by to relieve you in 6 hours. Tyon, I will be with you. Finn, who will be next? Reveria, I guess that is me. Alicia, Lady Reveria, I would like to assist you. Finn, good. Then I would be next. Raoul, I will help if that is all right. Loki, so we have figured out the watches. It is time for dinner. Finn to Tiona and Anakitty, we will send dinner to you. On their way out, Finn posted multiple sentries outside the door and down the hallway. Tiona looking at Bell and AIS, come on Argonaut, please wake up. The next morning, it was the watch for Reveria and Alicia. The executives came and checked, but so far neither Bell or AIS showed any reactions. Sometime later, Freya and Otter came by, but still there was no reactions from Bell or AIS. Everyone then went to the meeting room to discuss. Loki, no news on those two. How is Aurario? Freya, the monsters have been exterminated. Otter, the problem is that the main entrance has to be sealed to keep monsters from attacking the city. We are now working out Nosso's trips to get to the 18th floor for gathering magic stones for the city's needs. Loki, is there no way to calm this situation down? Finn, does not appear so at this time. This could well become a long-term problem. Gareth, this is not sustainable. Loki, we need to capture Demeter. Freya, when Bell and AIS have been taken care of, then I can go search for her. Suddenly, Amid came in the meeting room. Amid, where is Filvis? What is the serious problem? Everyone else looked puzzled at each other. Finn, what serious problem? At the Twilight Manor, as everyone was meeting about Bell and AIS, Amid came in looking for Filvis. Amid, where is Filvis? What is the serious problem? Everyone else looked puzzled at each other. Finn, what serious problem? Amid, I am not sure. I think Lefia sent for help. Reveria, Lefia. Has anyone seen Lefia? When no one answered, everyone was worried about what happened to Lefia and Filvis. After some searching, no one could find Lefia. Freya then asked to go up to a high floor to look for them. Before going any further, Lefia came in through the gates carrying Filvis, who was very weak but still conscious. See this, everyone rushed down towards the gates. Reveria, what happened? Lefia, I don't know. We went to shop for some potions for Bell and AIS, but Filvis suddenly collapsed. Amid did a check on Filvis and had a very worried look on her face. Amid, let's carry her inside. This is very strange. After laying Filvis on a bed, Amid did some more checking. She did not seem to believe what she was finding. After a long breathe, Amid, it seems her body is disintegrating. It is as if her body is dissolving away. Lefia. Oh no, Loki, well we are still connected. Reveria, Amid, you know that Filvis is a creature. Amid, yes, but why would her body suddenly start disintegrating? Finn, the corrupted Great Earth Spirit, with the powers of the other great spirits, rebuilt her dying body many years ago. The Great Earth Spirit's powers have been sealed, and the other great spirits have faded from this world. Amid, so the power that rebuilt her body has disappeared. Lefia, yes, creatures could regenerate using some type of plant-based magic. Amid connected the dots, and that is gone now. Amid, well, I can try healing her using some potions and my magic. Everyone decided to give Amid some space to treat Filvis, though Reveria, Loki and Lefia stayed with Amid and Filvis. Freya quietly, Loki, I need to look into something. I will be back pretty soon. An hour later, a tired Amid came out of the room with Loki and Reveria. Loki immediately went to get some potions to help Amid recover her mind. Amid, I was able to stop the damage with magic. It seems that as long as I use magic to heal her, then the degeneration is stopped. But when I stop using magic, then the degeneration starts again. I don't know what to do. I don't have enough magic to do this indefinitely. Loki, please do your best. I know you cannot hold up continuously. Is there any potion that can help? Amid, I tried, and it helped a little. We need more potions of the highest quality. Reveria, I will go round that up. And left for Mayaka's location after having some lower-level members collect recovery potions for Amid. Loki, is there anyone else in your Familia that can help tag team with you? After some thought, Amid, yes, please help me send for them, and another 2 lower-level members headed for the Dien Sect Familia's pharmacy. At that point, Freya came back with Heroheim. Loki, oh very clever Freya, how is it working? Loki, it is a race. Amid is able to stop the degeneration, but when she stops from exhaustion, the degeneration gets worse. Freya, all right, Heroheim, please go assist Amid when she is ready to start treatment, as Heroheim went to explain her magic to Amid. Another hour later, Haruheim, Amid and Loki came out of Filvis' room. Amid looked extremely tired, as did Haruheim. Freya, how did it work as she handed more recovery potions to them? Amid, with the incredible level boost, I was able to improve her situation considerably. Now my two assistants are applying their healing magic while I take a break. At that point, Reveria returned with several high-quality potions. Reveria, we bought all of their inventory. Amid, we will use this in my next session. Freya, Haruheim, how long do you need to rest? Haruheim, I can do something in an hour or so. Amid, I will also rest for an hour. Reveria, can my healing spell work? Amid, let's go try in a little while. At that point, Finn came by. Reveria, how are Ais and Bell? Finn, no change everyone. Few minutes later, Reveria went to try her healing spell on Filvis, and it seemed to help. Despite her high level, the effect was less than Amid's magic though. They then tried having Reveria and Amid's assistants healing at the same time, and the results were improved though still less than a boosted Amid. Amid, Haruheim and I will rest for an hour or so. When we are ready, we can try it together along with one of the expensive potions all at the same time. Another hour later, Haruheim activated Kohono and then Yukai no Kozuchi. She then boosted Amid and Reveria, and they immediately started healing Filvis together. After a few minutes, they made a few incisions into Filvis' arms and upper body and poured the high potions onto those locations. After about 15 minutes of intense healing, Amid had to stop, though Reveria continued with her stronger stamina as a first-class adventuress. After a couple recovery potions, Amid evaluated Filvis and was pleased with the results. Amid, there is substantial improvement compared to when I tried to heal Filvis myself, even when I was boosted by Haruheim. In the areas that were cut and healed with the high potions, they have almost completely recovered. The degeneration at those locations are now very low. It is as if the plant cells they have almost been completely replaced by elf cells. Loki, so we can do this again tomorrow. From what Filvis told us, most of her lower body may be plant. Amid, yes, I am glad we have several highest quality potions, but we should apply it when we are using our magic. That is the reason I started the healing potion in the upper body, as that is mostly elf cells. I will work my way lower and lower. Hopefully we can help the elf cells regenerate in the lower body step by step. Freya, Filvis is going to be cut a lot. Lefia, there is hope. And she may be cleared of the plant cells. Amid, don't get your hopes up too much. I am not sure we can save her legs. Loki, I think by the time we are done, she may cease to be a creature, though she may be back to a level 3 even if she do not lose her legs. Lefia, prepare yourself if the news is not good. Lefia, I will help her. I am sure she will be happy to be rid of the plant cells. Finn, what about the creature being held at the guild? Reveria, we should tell Ryu, but it appears the original person's mind is gone. Loki, if Ryu wants to try, I will support her. But it is probably hopeless. Freya, actually, would that other creature be alive if it degenerates as fast as Filvis has been? This would be all for this story. Next STPRY coming soon, so please like, share and subscribe to get informed as soon as the next story drops.